Hey, this is Chase Sexton. You're listening to the MotoXpod show.
What's up, you guys? Jeremy McGrath here. You are listening to MotoXpod show.
Welcome back to the Vital Mix MotoXpod show presented by Racetech and Yamaha Motor USA. Detroit Supercross did not disappoint, and once again, plenty of action, drama, and more red flags. Plenty to talk about tonight. Great lineup. We've got Hep Motorsports' Ken Roczen on the line and Phoenix Racing's Cullin Park to join us, so it's going to be a lot of fun. In studio to talk about Detroit and whatever else we decide to get into tonight, top fives, pick ones, X-Brand Forum check-ins, working the cameras, a new camera angle.
On you.
Scotty Thompson. What's up, man?
Yeah, just nobodying it up. Just a couple of nobodies over here.
Okay.
We're just nobody, man. We're just doing our thing.
His feelings are hurt always.
Yeah. What, TJ,
just trying to
also in
relief.
studio. What is the issue?
I don't know.
What's he sad about tonight?
He's a yuppie.
Dude,
I'm a yuppie.
my tummy hurts.
I have a Columbia.
TJ, my tummy hurts, and Scotty, my feelings hurt.
Well, I am. Yeah, never mind.
Yeah.
No, I'd rather hear what you have to say.
Well, no.
No,
That's a good forum question. Does wearing a Columbia jacket make you a yuppie?
Yes.
Yes, absolutely.
Hey, never mind. I'm not going to do it to you.
I shouldn't
Forget
ask
it.
that.
I'm not going to even do it to
I'm
you.
not wearing Crocs. I'm wearing work shoes.
A lot we're going to get into talk about tonight. If you guys are watching live on YouTube, hit that like button, share it. That helps us out a ton. Support our sponsors as well. Before we get into the Racetech discussion, well, let's do the Racetech read. As you guys know, Racetech is the world's largest aftermarket motorcycle suspension modification company. And they have over 35 years of experience providing factory-level suspension to the everyday rider. Racetech's gold valves provide a plush feel with drastically improved bottoming resistance and increased traction. All Racetech products are 100% guaranteed and made in the USA. All you got to do is go to racetech.com. You can find your local service center. You can get parts for your engine there as well. You can find your local service center, get to know your rep. You want to get your suspension service. If you have air forks on a 2025 KTM 350 or other model European brand or Austrian brand, you can do a spring conversion kit, which I've recently done. Have not really had a whole lot of time to test it yet due to weather, but
Oh, so go ahead. I thought you were. I was saying, or you can get gold valves and put them in yourself.
Upside down. Yeah, we talked about that a little bit last week. That you did that. You did when you were here. You mentioned it.
Oh, maybe I did. I don't remember
during the raid.
But it's actually a pretty awesome kit. I was surprised the amount of instructions and the amount
that you must not have read since you put them in upside down.
No, I was just rushing through the second fork, but I'm telling you, like, it's insane. Like, and what was nice about it, yes, I did screw up, but because of the most detailed, clear, like, three-dimensional looking instructions, I was able to instantly figure out where I messed up, fix the problem. Forks are amazing now. So
awesome.
If you'd only use those beautiful, detailed, crystal clear instructions the first time.
I did on one fork.
Then you forgot on the other. Listen, as I said, we're going to get into a few different things here tonight. I do want a quick shout out to one of our YouTube viewers, Tay Bill Jam.
Yeah, my man.
Who got his socks after a short period of time.
Yeah, shortened.
I have a complaint.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Oh, God.
So apparently he's sending you Tim Tams.
Yeah.
And they're not here yet. That's my complaint. Hurry up, Tay Bill Jam.
I think I might have made a table. If you're listening, we might need to adjust because I told them I was like, yeah, just send them here, but they may be gone.
Yeah,
by the time I get here.
They actually may have already been eaten, and he's just telling them they didn't show up.
They haven't shipped yet. I know that.
He just said in the chat that he sent me some. He got the deets to send me some Tim Tams.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Oops.
Yeah. I should have. You were very cunning when you said that. Yeah.
Well, I asked.
You're like, yeah, you just want to send him here, and I was like, yeah, sure, that's easy.
Do you want to send him to your house or just have him sit here? And you said, oh, it doesn't really matter. Here.
And I said, he already has your address, right? And you said
Which
yes.
Wasn't exactly true.
Oh, you mother. I should have known. I should have
Wasn't
known.
exactly
That's great.
true.
That's great.
Tay send
You'll get
extra.
in all honesty, I still have a couple packages of Tim Tams
well, you
left.
don't need them.
Yeah, from Moose, who sends us some.
That was a long time ago.
Well,
or
he's-
you just-
he's
or
also-
you've been cutting this
No,
out.
I haven't. I just haven't eaten them all. Like I've cut back on that kind of snacks to
I
some degree.
literally will eat like a box of them.
Yeah. So anyway, Tay Bill Jam, hurry up. It's taking too long.
Yeah, someone said in the chat it's going to be 2 years before I get the
He
Tim
said
Tams.
4. In the email, he said within the next 4 years. I think
Yeah.
he said the Chinaman
It'd be
who
nice
has
and
the
stale.
rowboat that you sent the socks
Yeah.
to is bringing them back to you.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Something along those lines. So good stuff. All right, Race Tech open discussion. Let's start with Detroit and Cooper Webb, winning his very first race of the year. He's tied in points with Chase Sexton. It's also Fly Racing's first win since 2021 with Zach Osborne. You're showing people on YouTube
His shirt. This shirt was him. You weren't supposed to keep talking.
I don't
Well,
understand
you
what that
distracted him,
shirt has
TJ.
with the Chihuahua has to do with Cooper Webb.
because it says I got that dog in me.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it's
All right. Well, so
This is my tribute to Cooper Webb. He got that dog in him.
I got a couple things on Webb I want to ask you guys. And he was going to be one of the guests tonight, but Mathis did us dirty again. So I bumped Cooper Webb. But one of the things I wanted to ask him, we hear all the time, Cooper Webb doesn't have the raw speed the other guys do, but he has racecraft. So my first question is, TJ, do you agree with that statement when you think of Cooper Webb?
I would say I never thought about it until you say that. So I'm going to say I don't agree. It's just his riding style isn't as frantic as some of the other. And I don't mean frantic in a bad way, but you have guys that like Barsha who just look like they are going like Mach 10.
Okay. I did listen to Pulp, the Cooper Webb Pulp interview today, and he talked about I think it was Greg Albertson asked him it doesn't seem like you move around as much, have as many motions as the other riders. Do you think that maybe that's what you're seeing?
Yes, because you see riders, and the person I'm going to throw up there is Dungey. Was so smooth and so
calculated with his
and
movements.
still on the bike. Like they didn't use any extra energy or any
Yeah,
of that
just
stuff.
he was just sit down and just
And
haul ass.
And Ryan Villapoto was kind of the same way. They didn't move a lot on the bike, so they saved energy, and they were able to push all the way to the end. And maybe that's what Coop is referring to as far as keeping his movements small and able to go all the way the distance. Where you have guys that like Stewart back in the day, like James Stewart, who were all over the bike, or other riders. It's a lot of energy.
Eli looks like he's very aggressive on the bike.
It's a lot of energy, but he's a big, strong guy, so maybe he can do that. And Cooper is not the same.
So you would not say, you would disagree that Cooper doesn't have the raw speed.
I would disagree.
Scotty?
I would say that maybe in the past that's kind of maybe been the case, but he seems to. He doesn't always appear to have the raw speed, but when the time counts, he finds it.
Yeah. Okay.
That's why he gets compared to Reed a lot. Reed would get, at the test track, he'd get beat. Qualifying, he wouldn't be with the same pace with Stewart and Carmichael.
You listen to Pulp Mix too.
And then I've had that opinion for a long time. But
you weren't at the test track seeing what their lapse times were.
I've been hearing about what I'm talking about on race day.
I got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, what I am getting at is that I will say that this season, and I really noticed it. I've noticed it a couple times. I really noticed it in Detroit that Cooper does seem to be kind of flicking the bike around more, a little more aggressive looking riding than I've seen him do.
I'd say I noticed that in Detroit. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen him where he's just kind of doing stuff that Jet and Tomac do to get that extra, tenths.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I'm seeing that from him now.
Yeah.
And so to answer the question, I do think he does have that raw speed at some level.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm curious what our listeners think, and you guys can hit us back, motoxpodshow@gmail.com on that topic or any others. What's that?
Is he as raw speed as Chase and Jet and Eli? No, but does he have the raw speed enough to, on any given night, be there? Absolutely.
So the reason, I was hearing that. I hear that a lot, and I kind of wonder what he thinks of that. And I wanted to ask him that. And I went back and I just looked at a few of the last 3 races at average lap times. And so at Glendale, in Detroit, he was had the fastest average lap time.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's how you win a race.
At Tampa, not always though. Like Chase was coming from the back, appeared to be much faster, but average in a lot of the laps, Cooper was actually faster than Chase.
Okay.
In Tampa, he had the second fastest lap
Even
time.
if you took out Chase's first lap, the average would that didn't skew the average.
I mean, probably. But if you look at lap by lap, he had the fastest lap time many times. At Tampa, he had the second fastest lap time to Chase. And at Glendale, in races 1 and 3, he also had the second fastest average lap times to Jet. So he's right there. He's like top 2 or 3 almost every race. And I don't know that people would necessarily realize that, because you do always think it's more racecraft and, he just has it when he needs it. But like if he's tracking these guys down from pretty far back at times, there's got to be some speed there.
Yeah, it makes sense if they were talking about that on Pulp, or other media people were talking about him like not moving on the bike. And I think it's the same way, just that riding style, that generation he came up with, you know what I mean? So
yeah, so anyway, I was just curious. I found that, again, I really would have liked to have asked him. I almost asked him that in the press conference, and then I didn't. I was going to save it for when he's on the show. So we'll get him back on. He's going to come back on in a couple weeks, and we'll get a chance to do that. As a matter of, we'll talk about guests in a minute. Before we move on to the next topic, if you guys are on YouTube or watch this later on YouTube, let us know. Hit us up again at MotoXpodshow@gmail.com and let us know about this new camera angle, because we're not set on it. You guys, if you watch all the time, there's going to be times where there's going to be somebody sitting next to me. We may zoom out, so it's going to be a little wider. We're trying something different, just trying to figure out a way to get where our cameras don't pick up other cameras. The camera used to be mounted on a table. It would bounce and move. Trying to make things a little better. I'd love to get your thoughts on it, what you think we should do, what we can do better. Next topic, the track itself. As I feel like with most of these tracks this year, was very racy. Watching qualifying, I was like, I don't like this track. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it. But then it raced really well. A lot of good corners for where you could pass. You go inside, you go outside. The sand worked pretty well both lanes. They've done really good with the split lanes this year.
Yeah, the sand did really good.
But this track in general, I thought was really racy. And then you had that triple onto the table that was really difficult. A couple guys were clipping it earlier in the day and during the heat races, and it was just a struggle. I like this track a lot once they got to racing. Scotty, thoughts on the track?
Definitely,
what stood out about the track?
That it very quickly became a Cooper Webb track where he can start using those inside lines that he likes. That he seems, he was known for doing that on the KTM and wasn't able to do it as much last year. And now he seems like he's got that Yamaha dialed to where he can do it now. And like it was his. It made sense that he won that race. Like that was a Cooper Webb track.
Do you think?
Like, and I've heard other people say this, if there had been like a quad or something
which there was, they took out. I want to ask about that.
Okay, well, if there had been something, maybe not even that one, like another obstacle that I think Kenny could do better, it might have changed the outcome of that race.
What about TJ? If Chase doesn't hit the gate and doesn't fall, maybe even if he doesn't fall, if he does hit the gate and doesn't fall, does he win? Do you think if he's up front that he just pulls away from Cooper? Because again, you look at the lap times, pretty close.
Yeah, depends on if he doesn't hit the gate and if he's in front.
Chase was doing that in traffic.
No, I'm saying like it depends on if he doesn't hit the gate and is in front of or behind Cooper. I haven't seen Cooper this year able to really just chase him down, right? Like, I mean, or ever. Have you ever
Cooper chase down?
Yeah, and just pass Chase, you know what I mean? Like when Chase wasn't.
I mean, that's usually not how the races go, though.
But that's what I'm getting at. So I'd like to see what would happen if Cooper started in front of Chase. And
I'm talking about the exact situation but Chase doesn't hit the. So let's say Chase hits the gate, but he didn't fall, so he would have probably saved 10 seconds, 5 seconds. I don't know what it took him to get up.
Yeah,
but would he? He was down by. I don't remember what the gap was at the end. It was pretty decent,
like 17 seconds. Or
I was gonna say I was gonna say like 13, but either way, I was
actually when I rewatched the race, I was watching that, and Chase stayed about 14 to 16 seconds behind Cooper like the whole time.
Yeah,
once he got to around those first, when he probably got to like 12th or something like that, and it wasn't as much of getting through a herd of people as it was just one guy at a time. He stayed about that same distance.
Because their lap times were very, very similar.
That's so most of the time.
Now,
to prove to your question, though, I think that says that Coop gets behind anybody and he hangs with them. It's just what he does. Like, so I think if Chase pulls a whole shot and Coop starts right there and Chase can't build his gap quick enough, then I think Coop can stay on him for sure.
Chase did have the fastest lap of the night, and I think it was by like half a second from the next best time. But overall,
he had less weight because he didn't have his visor on.
That could have been it.
Wind restriction.
I need to get ML on here, man. We're going to talk about fantasy with the Pro X fantasy recap here in just a second. Let's work on that. But Jason Anderson, Chase Sexton, just while I'm getting ML on that pass attempt, Jason, you could say, oh, that's kind of crappy racing, or like, why would he do that or whatever. But look, man, I thought hey, I'm not just going to let you go by me.
Yeah.
You guys have any issues with that?
Podium battle.
So
exactly.
I was watching it, and I don't know what you thought, Scotty, but like it was one of those deals where if you're going to battle with him and if you're going to fight him, that's fine, but not then he gets by you and just drops you. Like that's the only problem I had.
Let's get back to that. We got ML on the line, so we're going to do the Pro X Vital MX fantasy recap real quick. Pro X is rooted in racing from motocross to off-road and supporting teams such as Ampro Yamaha, Pro Circuit Kawasaki, and SLR Honda. They've been supplying quality components for almost 50 years, from complex jobs like an engine rebuild to simple maintenance, including filters, chains, and sprockets. Pro X aims to bridge the gap between OE quality and affordability, and you can find Pro X at your local dealer or visit pro-x.com and search for parts for your bike. Pro X brings us tonight from Vital MX, Michael Lindsay. What's up, ML?
I'm bummed. I want to know what you guys were arguing about.
While we were getting you on, I asked them if they thought the pass that when Sexton was trying to pass Jason, the way Jason rode Chase, if that was uncalled for or whatever. Like, I thought it was fine, dude. I'm not. You're faster. I'm not going to just let you go. Maybe you fall and you don't pass me. I had no issue with it.
Yeah, I'm fine with it. I was sitting in the room with somebody that said it was chicken shit, and I laughed out loud, and I was like, no, it's fine. It's dirt bike.
I mean, like, I can see that viewpoint a little bit. Like, if you're just like, okay, he's so much faster. But to me, look, man, again, like maybe Chase falls trying to pass him, and then you're like, yep, sorry, I'll keep my podium.
Yeah.
Well,
hey, money's on the line. If you start behind people, figure out how to pass them. It is what it is.
Yeah.
Well, ML, just real quick, doesn't it like it almost takes away from, in my opinion, when you fight like that and then get dropped by seconds. You know what I mean? Like it's different.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look. That's what I mean.
Oh, it's not a good look. He's hanging on for dear life. Like, Chase is definitely the fastest guy. I mean, if he catches him like any rider, if somebody catches you, you may not know in the moment like how much faster they are than you. They've definitely gone to you for a reason.
Yeah,
that's
the thing. He doesn't see what we see on TV. He knows Chase caught him, but it's like, okay, maybe he had a sloppy lap or two. Maybe he's thinking I can, because some riders too mentally, like, I'm not saying Chase like this, but like, okay, maybe Jason could trap him into his pace. But I'm sure after riding him a little rough and then getting dropped, he was probably like, yeah, damn, that was pointless.
He probably didn't realize he started from so far behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. I'm sure as he watched him walk away, he was like, yeah, basically, I was pretty much just got to run through your head like, yeah, basically would have had to put him on the ground. That wasn't happening.
Right. Well, ML, let's talk about the Vital MX fantasy game. There is a MotoXpod Show League. If you guys go to vitalmx.com, you can sign up for free. And there is also now a pro fantasy contest game with varying entry fees, player counts, payouts. Tell us about what's going on. That we were in a beta version for the last couple weeks.
Yeah, last 2 weeks we did a beta. This week it's open. I say it's open to all users. You have to be in one of, I think it's 23 or 24 U.S. states on the sign-up. It'll tell you that. Kind of similar if you've played Pulp, where it will basically pick up by IP address, like where you're at if you're able to play, because it kind of like fits in between some. It's not like gambling because it's not odds based. It's just base payouts. But if you've ever played Yahoo Daily Fantasy, it might look really familiar. Basically, use your team. You can either use your team from the base game, from the standard game, or you can create a new team if you really want to just send it. Multiple pulls each weekend between $5, $10, and $20 buy-ins. Basically different player counts and different payouts. Some are spread out really evenly, like pays top 5. Some are all in, basically winner takes all the money, but there's all the little info on all of them. But yeah, we're going to have a couple pools available this weekend for everybody to play and try out. So if you want to play and see if your team manager skills are enough to get you some prize money, check it out. Just you against the 10, 15, 20 players per pool.
Again, the way the game works is you are a team manager. You get $1 million budget. You have to pick at least one 450 rider, one 250 rider, and each rider gets assigned a dollar amount of value, maybe $150,000 for whatever, Chase Sexton for the weekend. And you pick as many riders as you can within your budget, and you get their points for the weekend. So it's pretty cool. I suck at it. I think I did, 109 points this weekend. That's usually about where I'm at, 109 to 150. So I'm sucking pretty bad. But when you say pools, what are the different, I was kind of glancing at it, and it looks like are there different games, like ways the game, it's not just points, right? Are there like hole shots or anything like that?
No. It still plays the way this normal game. So whatever the riders you pick on your team scores your score, and the best score in the group wins. And one of the pools, for instance, is $5, but only only people remember winners. There's 10 people in the pool, but only the winner gets the payout. Everybody combined sum. But then there's a larger pool that's 20, or it's $5 so 20 people. There's a smaller pool, it's $20 by 10 people, and it pays through the top 5. Has all that info when you click on each one. Each one has a little bit different stakes and payouts to them to make them interesting. And we're going to keep playing with them each week. But yeah, like I said, it's the biggest thing is between the way we do our normal fantasy is now we've gone to just weekly rotating prizes, and then having the payouts through the pools weekly is trying to make fantasy more fun on a weekly basis, because I get it sucks to enter a fantasy game, and after a couple of rounds you feel like you're out of prizes for the year. So we focused most of our prizes this year on weekly, and then the pool game allows us to do it. So you missed out any of the rounds so far of the year, who cares? There's still cool stuff every single weekend. You miss a weekend, who cares?
Yeah.
It's still fun to play the next weekend.
I don't know if you saw the forum question. Excuse me. A guy asked, is there a way to put a box you can check or something that if you pick your team, it just auto picks if you play in a different league, so you don't have to pick twice?
We are working on that. So it's funny is the main reason it's allowed to, originally the game was just going to use your former team, but I made the comment that, hey, if I'm playing with money on the line, I might get riskier. You know what I mean? Because my normal, even though we do mostly prizes weekly, I kind of play the standard fantasy definitely for the season. Hey, I want to try to do good across the whole year, where if I threw $5 or $10 at it and there's a chance to win $100 or something, I might be okay, I'm going to go really risky and kind of swing on the team. Because that's the other thing in pools is you could enter multiple teams if you want. You could, hey, if there's a $5 pool pays $100, $120, but you want to enter twice, you can assign 2 different teams. You could go safe, and then you could go ultra risky. So that's why we made it where you can sign others. But yes, I've actually had a few people go, can I just check mark, use my old team? So that's being worked on. I don't know which week it'll be added, but the devs are working on that little addition.
Scotty?
Well, ML, I wanted to brag about beating everybody here in fantasy, but I wanted to make sure that you didn't smoke me before I started getting too cocky. How many points did you have this week?
I don't remember points, but I remember my score. I was 185th or something. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't great.
All right. I'm 124th in the MotoXpod Show League. Are you talking about the MotoXpod Show League?
No, I was just talking about my overall score for last weekend. I don't know what I am overall. I've definitely fallen cursed. I've been very focused on my work this year. There's been 2 races I've gone to that I have not updated my team on race day, and have very much paid for it. I just
how many points did you say you had?
On the job. I'd have to look real quick.
What's your handle?
What do you got, TJ?
Well, I was just going to ask. You were talking about that. So I missed one weekend of checking, and it was supposed to carry over. It was
Tampa.
It was Tampa, but I guess it didn't carry points over because my 250 riders were West Coast.
Yeah, it wouldn't have had because it automatically.
I didn't get
because it doesn't carry your riders. As long as you played around the next round, it should automatically pick you a team.
It did not.
But okay, that might have been from switching coast. There might be unique things to how the game rigs that. Because it should pick you a team, but it gives you only 75% of the budget, so you can't win off an auto pick.
Right. It says Tampa, and then it says NA next to it, points.
Yeah.
And so I was just curious what had happened there, because it totally ruined my mediocre year.
I am ranked number 68 in the MotoXpod show league.
Yeah, he got me. He got 133. I had 119, but I beat everybody else in here, so we're good.
All right.
All right.
I said, trust me, I'll throw it away. There'll be a couple rounds here again where I'll get too busy with work, and I will definitely blow it. It is always funny to look at the people, though, in the leagues. Like, we have industry people. I crack up at some of the names. There's people I used to race with, a couple people that work for companies that actually advertise on our site, a couple that own companies. I know, like, one of the most common guys I see that scores top 5 all the time is Chris Wheeler that runs all of Suzuki Racing.
Mm-hmm.
Wheeler's always playing, so a bunch of industry guys play too, which cracks me up.
Nice. Well, ML, we're going to let you go. We got to get Ken Roczen on the line in just a couple minutes, but VitalMX.com, there's a fantasy tab at the top. Click on it. You can still play the Superfan Fantasy free game.
Hello.
Or can you hear me? ML?
He gone.
I don't know, man. I didn't.
You hung up on
Yeah.
him. I can't believe you did it to your boss.
Yeah. Hang on. You guys.
Yeah. So
talk about. I want to get to the red flag thing, but we don't really have time. Yeah. Anyway, let me text him back. You guys talk about something.
yeah. So
Talk about something.
So you're on what was your team? Like how many people?
Oh.
You did pretty good. My question is, I don't pay for. Do you pay to where you can see
No,
somebody else's team?
We cheat, bro. I ain't doing all
I
that.
ain't got no money. So no, but my thing is how many riders did you have?
I was actually going to ask ML that to see like if he knew kind of what seems to do better. I'm so
You can
far.
look at history.
I'm
Like
so far down the
winning
rabbit hole. I
teams,
gotta
but-
get.
We can't because you have to pay for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I the first weekend at A1, I looked, and the guy that won, I don't know how he got that many riders with $1 million. I was like, there's no way. 'Cause
He had
I
a
feel
bunch
like,
of riders. So
I feel like
that's
he
the
had
thing.
like 15 freaking riders.
So I had 7, and I got 112 points.
I think I had 7 as well.
So I think the trick is to maybe pick at least 9.
So that's what I've been debating is I had 7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
me too.
And I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get a couple of bigger names and then use and save. I had like I spent $10,000 on Hunter Schlosser. Got me nothing. It was
Yeah.
it was
Right.
It was pointless. So it's like I was thinking about that. It's like, oh, you can kind of budget and be like frugal and buy a bunch of
I'm
like
doing that this week.
$60,000 riders, but they don't get that many points.
No, that's why I said I think I had 3 or 4
Like-
guys that got me single digits this week,
but
including Hammaker, if I'm not mistaken. Let's
my best round
see if
though.
I have it.
Let's
Yeah,
see.
Hammaker got me 5 points.
We can't choose teams yet.
No, it's not available
my best
till Thursday.
thing was the very first week, and let's see, I think I had like 9 or 10 people.
That's got to be what you have to do. You know what I mean? Like
I'm looking it up.
I've never picked that many riders before. Yeah.
See, I had 10.
10
I had 10 people on the first one, and I scored 132 points.
That's the trick. I think we've like cracked a code for all of our listeners here. If you're playing this,
Let's see.
The more riders that you need that you get, the better you do.
I had 8.
I think you need
Yeah.
to be around 10
yeah,
or
but
11
I
riders.
also got Kenny for $160,000, but you can't get him anymore
Yeah.
for that price.
But I mean, I think you still got to shoot for that.
Yeah, that was my best result. Was 10
Yeah.
riders. So I was like, I'm going to spend more money and get bigger names, but if one of them has a bad race, then you're
It
screwed.
just wipes out.
Yeah.
Where exactly.
MotoXpodShow@gmail.com. Like and share it on YouTube. Okay. I do want to get into this red flag thing, but we got to get Kenny on like 2 minutes. All right, let's real quick. I mentioned Chase Sexton hitting the starting gate,
Yep.
right? And if you like, a lot of people are like, even Ricky on air. I don't know how you do that. Like he was very critical of Sexton hitting the gate. I feel like all of us have probably hit the gate at one time. At that level, yeah, maybe you're not supposed to. But, like, are you that mind blown that it happened?
No, I mean, I don't know if he tried to time it, but if somebody jumped next to him and you're antsy and the clutch just slips and bites, it didn't seem like that big. I was like,
I mean, he
crap.
really hit it though.
Yeah.
Well,
Do you think he was timing it? He was trying to time it?
I think so.
I think he was just going for it, and he just was like, as soon as he started moving, he was just going and hoping it. You know what I mean?
We'll ask our next guest about it. Our next guest of the night is going to be brought to you by Yamaha Motor USA, who has a reputation for dominance. It doesn't happen overnight. It's built over decades. The YZ story is over 50 years of iconic machines and groundbreaking innovations. Yamaha took the championship-winning bikes and made them even better because the best don't rest. Check them out at YamahaMotorsports.com or go to your local dealership and check out everything Yamaha has to offer. Tonight, Yamaha brings us from the HEP Motorsports Suzuki team, Ken Roczen. What's up, Kenny?
What's happening, guys? How are you guys doing?
Doing great, man. Love to have you on. It's been a long time. So first of all, thank you for jumping on here with us.
Yeah, no worries.
Listen, man, right off the bat, I just want to talk to you about your season so far. 4 podiums in 6 rounds. You're 16 down. You know, obviously Tampa didn't go well, and that kind of hurts you a little bit. But starting after hearing you talk at A1, where you were sort of just you were super happy about getting a second, has your mindset changed a little bit about this season and where you expect to be?
Not really. I mean, first off, I've been super happy with how things are going. Like, I've just, focused very, very hard on the night program every single weekend so far. And, for the most part, it's really paid off. And I don't really think I am changing my outlook on it. I really want to keep the same mindset the whole way, because that's when I'm the most comfortable, I would say. And so I don't know, we still have so much racing to go, and I'm really like, it's kind of fun for me because, after Tampa, we all knew I had to rebound, but, you also got to go out and do it. You know what I mean? So it's been really fun to execute and just put my effort into that. So I know we still have a bunch of races to go, but like, I'm planning on doing that every single weekend and trying to stay in the zone that I need to be in to do that.
Yeah, you mentioned that in the press conference. You said you're sticking to your plan, and I asked you what that plan was. And basically, hey, I got to be there every week. You got to make it to the end. And, yeah, I think that's going to be good. But maybe at some point, if you are thinking title chances, like it will come down to, like, we got to get some wins and maybe push the limit. Do you think you'd be willing to do that if that comes?
Yeah, for sure, because the fun part is to, go back home, work on yourself, see what you need to want to adjust or something, and just to kind of like try and get that extra 2% and stuff. So kind of take that from weekend to weekend, and try to improve on that. So yeah, that's kind of like where my head's at. And of course, yeah, I mean, winning, I'm gonna, let's put it this way. I'm becoming more and more comfortable, like riding up front. So it's kind of been fun learning. And because I haven't really been in that position much, in the recent years, so it's kind of been fun being up there, and then you learn a lot more about yourself and just try to be even better.
Hey, Kenny, so you actually bring this right into what I was going to ask. You are continually improving year after year after year, and especially after some major, like, I guess you call it like setbacks would be the perfect word for it. Does this extend your career? Like, does this cause you to be like, you know what? I see these guys racing into their 30s, and I'm gonna like, do we have like you racing for the next 5-6 years? I know it sounds like a long ways, and it's hard to look that far into the future. But you continue to improve. Like, how does that affect your long-term outlook?
Yeah, I mean, up to this point, it's always, been for sure that I'm, I have a few years, but like, it's come closer and closer to where, honestly, I don't really know. I'm kind of winging it. I'm
That's
so
awesome.
focused on the moment at the moment to where it's very hard for me to say. In the past, it was always like, oh, I'll definitely have like 2-3 more years or whatever. Like, I don't know. I'm honestly just really enjoying the moment here on the, effort again, and see how long I, can pull through with everything, and how long. Let's put it this way: I'm in the mood for right now. I'm really enjoying it, and I put my, what I mean by like you're gonna know when you retire, but I don't know, year, 2, a half a year. I don't know. It's coming closer and closer. So I haven't really thought about it. So I've forced myself not to.
Well, I get that. I'm 45, and I think I would be calling it quits pretty soon as far as my racing career too. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of just feeling it out.
Kenny, on that note a little bit, you've always been a championship contender and a guy that's supposed to win races, and you have that pressure and the expectation of yourself. At this point in your career, having a race like that with Coop, where y'all are just battling, working your way through the lappers, thank God nothing got in the way this time, and y'all just had a battle like that, it had to have just, at some level, kind of just been fun. And you're like, I'm just having fun. This is what I do. I ride my dirt bike and I'm having fun.
No, for sure. And honestly, it's been a long time since we have battled like that when we are both at 100%. You know what I mean? I mean, there's always things you want to work on, but it's been really a long time because, you know, there were times where he was better again and I wasn't, and then the other way around as well. But like legit head-to-head battle, like it's definitely been a minute. So yeah, you kind of just relearn, and I'm getting more and more comfortable with it, at least, you know, because yeah, when you follow, you can learn a lot from the front and figure it out, but vice versa as well. So it was good for me to be in that position. Honestly, I think it was a good step for me, just to get better and be familiar with it, and yeah.
It amazes me constantly to hear you say that, because you think of a rider at your level, and I can't imagine being your speed and your ability and still being like, you know what, I'm still learning stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean, no,
awesome.
yeah, you never stop learning. You just don't stop learning, and that's at least, you know, how I think about it. You learn every single time, whether it's the bike, about yourself. Like, it's definitely an ongoing process, I feel like.
That's why I'm excited to keep you around here for the next 10 years of racing.
Yeah, right? Hey, Kenny, I want to ask you about choosing to ride offensively or defensively. When you start to get caught like you did Saturday night, you have to kind of choose at times. And I feel like that's being in first in that position is a difficult position to be in. So how do you decide, like, I'm going to push forward, or now I need to start riding defensively to try to protect my lines, even though maybe they're not the best lines?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of go off your sensing, right? Because honestly, like last weekend, for example, I just lacked on that extra 2%. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And the turns were also very open. So yeah, you just got to sense, you know, whenever you think he's close, or you kind of know, you know, you have to pay attention, not just to the front, but also like what's going on behind you a little bit, because you can't just in a dull way stick your line and really leave the door open. You know what I mean? Unless it's like, oh, you know, he's going to go to the inside and you kind of swing like what I did. Like, I thought he was going to take me a lot higher. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I should have honestly hit that triple after, but I was afraid he was going to kind of wean left, going double, and I didn't want to jump into him. So I decided to pull out. So yeah, you just kind of feel it and sense it, you know, and then, yeah, you want to try. If you have bull turns and stuff, like you can, yeah, I don't know. You're always going to lack in a little bit of time. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
If you start riding really defensively, like when you're behind and you can play and you can swing wide and basically do your normal race line, it's almost impossible to like not give up a little bit of time, right? So unless you're that much better and you can defend it and just pull away right away, I just didn't have that extra 2% to go, you know, that much faster to create a gap.
Yeah, that makes sense. I want to ask you about this. And as soon as the race was over, I walked into where I do the press conference from in my house. So I just heard your post-race interview kind of through the other room. And I think you made a comment about like, oh, people think this is what happens when Coop's behind me. Like it's happened. Did you make a comment about like the people's perception of that?
Yeah, like I said I know what the stigma behind this battle is, you know what I mean? But this was honest work in a sense that I'm like, I really tried. I kind of knew that I didn't quite have that extra 2% to like pull it up, but I'm going to try whatever I can to defend it and see where it takes me, you know? And we got close and, yeah, but it's just what I'm saying is I knew that was going to get brought up.
Yeah.
And I just didn't, I knew that already ahead of time. And I wasn't like, I'm not worried about it because, you know, I really tried my best and I feel like I'm in a comfortable spot to actually bounce back and maybe not let that happen next time. Where in the past, you know, I mean, it just was a different, same point outcome, I guess, but it was a total different style of racing. Like I tried all the way to the checkered flag, you know? Yeah,
I think this is a very different situation than 2021. It's a different Kenny. It's a different coupe. You even saw when we talked in San Diego, we did that long form interview, like, man, like some of those health issues, that was so long ago, but everybody's still kind of holding on to that. I definitely think it's a different situation.
Yeah, no, I agree. I've worked really hard to find the good balance for me. And like I said, I'm always still learning as well, but I feel like I have it figured out to where I can be my best on Saturday and, at the same time, not overdo it. You know what I mean? And try to always reach for more and more and more. So I think it's sustainable and I'm honestly just going with it. Like I said, week by week, I'm going to keep doing my thing and see where it takes me.
Perfect.
Yeah. And I think even Coop mentioned that that one that didn't feel like it had in the past, that you had more fight, and that you basically, he was trying to pressure you to make a mistake and you didn't, and like he kind of had to get creative. It's so cool to see you at that point, Ken, and I know the bike's come a long way, and now that you have that, is the transmission a big deal? We hear about it on the news and stuff.
That. Yeah, good question.
I mean, it's a big deal in a sense. It's a little bit better. Like, to me, it handled a tiny bit better, and then, you know, I like the gear ratios a little bit better, but you still have to end up riding the bike. It's not like you give a 15th place guy a factory transmission, all of a sudden he's going to go top 5 or something like that. It doesn't work like that. It was just an addition after, you know, the couple of years. My bike was the same the whole time. You know what I mean? Yes, we were messing around with suspension, but in general, there were no updated parts or anything. So that kind of opened up another door for me that I was really excited about to try. And then once it was in, I did like it. So I guess it was just an upgrade, you know, and that came in handy. But you still have to, and honestly, I'm learning now too with this thing and the first gear and everything, because that's not really natural to me. But I have started to use it a little bit more in certain areas, because I know a lot of riders do nowadays. So it definitely has its benefits. So it kind of just like adds to the list of tools, I guess, that you can maybe use that a little bit better.
Yeah, that's how I was thinking of it, because, you know, you guys are, especially at your tenure, you guys are so instinctual, and those, you said, you know, you put that transmission to somebody else, it's not going to go from 20th to 1st. You guys, like, it's just, that change is there, and now you can like, oh, I can do this now, and it's like, you don't really even think about it. It's just like, oh, it's there. That's really cool.
Yep.
Kenny, my question on that transmission is, I don't know enough about how this works. Like, is that something they've had a factory transmission, they just didn't ever give it to you and Hep, or is it something they finally decided to develop? Like, what took so long to come
I honestly don't know.
Okay.
So, no, because there was a test one, but there was something like wrong with it or something, and like it just, after that it kind of like got dropped, because obviously, like, me as a racer and a family, like, I'm busy too. That does, you know, it just kind of like got lost and whatever. And then I just got word and be like, hey, they're ready and we have a bunch and let's try it and whatnot. And then it was just open, and I kind of just, you know, let go of it, because I had some other areas that I had to figure out, like switching, you know, suspension brands and stuff. So there were because I was pretty happy with my bike either way, you know what I mean? Like, yes, that could have been some things that I wanted to improve, but for all in all, you know, I've done good on it, and I've had fun riding the bike. So
yeah, you look great, dude.
Yeah, and then just having that, it was nice.
Well, so this will bring me to like the most important question.
Oh boy.
Is racing Brown. I know this has been a while since you've
Carson.
raced.
Oh, Carson?
Yeah.
Oh, you said Brown. I was thinking Mike Brown.
Oh, no, Carson Brown.
Hello?
Like, my question is, the dude rips, right? Well, we all know this. But what's the
you hear me?
difference? Yeah, can you hear me? Uh-oh.
Kenny?
Did you
Kenny?
mute him? Did you
Nope.
hit? Oh.
Why? I wouldn't
You bastard, you killed Kenny.
He just didn't want to bring it up that Carson Brown beat him.
That's the second time that's done that.
Yeah, I don't know what's.
Janky iPhones.
Oh.
It's not my.
Hey, sorry, I don't know what happened.
No.
Well, honestly, it happened on a call we had a little while ago, so it might be something on our end. Sorry about that.
I just thought you didn't want to admit how fast that Carson Brown was.
Yeah, so I just heard you say Brown, and then I said Carson, and then nobody answered.
Yeah.
Oh,
so.
sorry.
No, so the question was, like, is like a rider like that who is just so talented and fast, what's the difference between like, how can he not be
Can you
like
guys hear me?
top 5? Oh my, how could he not be
You
top
were just
5?
gone again. Sorry, you might have to repeat that. You were gone again. I don't know if it's the signal on my side, but I mean, I'm pretty solid.
Yeah,
sure.
we
Is
haven't,
TJ muted?
we haven't heard you, lost you yet. But the question was, how can Carson Brown be so fast in so many situations and then not top 5ing every race?
Yeah, I mean, first off, it was not an easy task. I was a little worried, because also I forgot how it was. I think I came back from maybe Motocross of Nations or something like that, and then it was raining, and you know, I haven't even ridden again, so it was kind of like the last time I rode was in Europe or something, and I came over. I felt super rusty, so it was really like I had to figure this out quick, because we didn't have much practice either, right?
Right.
And then I don't know. It's just, I think it's the difference that you can see is that body language, right? Like, he puts in a lot of body English, you know, and it looks super cool. And don't get me wrong, it is fast, but like you can just see the difference of like somebody that rides a lot more calm. And I think it's just visually, like both are super fast, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then racing, yeah, I don't know. It's just different as well.
It's so crazy that
I'm always geeking out on those videos though.
Yeah.
It's so crazy
cool
that he can be so fast in so many situations.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I think there, you know, maybe at some point there's going to be a rematch between me and him.
Good.
But like when I
yeah.
watched all the other videos, I haven't heard anything. But like even when I watched the other videos, he was just so fast and beats him by so much. You know, I mean, Adam, I'm sorry, but like he smoked you, dude. And I don't know, I didn't expect it to be that much of a difference. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, he hasn't lost yet.
You know, I know he's getting better and better too.
For sure. Ken Roczen tonight brought to you by Yamaha Motor USA. I want to ask you, now that we've got a little over a week in between the lapper situation in Tampa, are you still as frustrated? And what, like, Cooper kind of had an idea in the press conference of how to handle lappers, but as a fan and a media guy, I kind of feel like it's hard to expect the guys getting lapped to not race each other. They're racing. You know, that race is important to them. So do you have any thoughts on how we could better the situation?
Yeah, I mean, that's I understand that, you know, they're racing as well, but when there's a clear rule that requires you, because then the guy you're racing in front of you has to do the same exact thing, you know, nobody can gain an advantage and you definitely can't pass. And if that's the rule for everybody, and you know, when the leaders are around, there are cameras on, like it's very easily seen what they did, and if they stay in it, like that's the problem, is when they stay in it, because you can even see when I came around, guy on a Honda, I don't know who was who, to be honest, but he basically passed the guy on my right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's like what that was doing a blend. All I did was follow Cooper. You know what I mean? And then. Yeah, just got on the gas out of the turn and you know, stayed in it and basically would have made the pass. And it's just like, you got to be aware of your surroundings a little bit better. That's for sure. Because even Kyle or Chiz, like, if you're going over a big jump, like, look back real quick when you get the blue flag. See where we're at or something, you know? Like, it's not a hard task, you know?
No, I mean, most, like, I get the hell out of the way when I'm getting lapped. That's for sure. But yeah, it sucked, and I felt
But honestly, I haven't thought much more about it. I really haven't. I've just let it go.
Perfect.
And
yeah.
Well, you know, it's like you don't notice something until you notice something, and then like after that, this week, that was something that I was kind of watching was like, what are the lappers? Are they going to play a role? Are they going to get out of the way? And it's like, I don't know what memo or newsflash they sent out.
Well, no, Starling was kind of in the way.
Yeah, but for the most part, like I saw a lot of guys like
it's always the same guys too.
Yeah, well, we won't go down that. But Kenny, what I wanted to go into anyways was, you know, it's cool that you're kind of like this Suzuki guy. You know, obviously the old story you hear it 1,000 times that the bike hasn't developed a lot, and it's kind of got this funny narrative. It's like, well, Kenny's winning on it. Why would we change it? And so it's really cool to see you doing that. And I just kind of wanted you to talk about your relationship with Larry Brooks. I know you guys work really well together. And if you also have any kind of relationship with anybody from the Suzuki like development team and that kind of stuff, just how all that works.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously, you know, Larry and I, we have established a great relationship. He trusts me. I trust him. And we've just kind of gone to work over the last 3 years. You know what I mean? It's been a really, really fun road figuring each other out. And then there was definitely a time where it was just, I don't know, it flipped the switch on him. And he knew that I wasn't just like bridging the year, you know what I mean, by coming to the team and getting out of there and not really giving a shit, you know what I mean? And I think once he realized that, then it was like game on, you know what I mean? And ever since, I've really enjoyed having him around at the races. He's like a coach. When we go down there, we always talk about the plan and, you know, what we should do. And we execute it together. And ultimately, he always leaves everything up to me. You know what I mean? Like, but it's been a really cool ride together. And hopefully, you know, it's been so fun getting on the podium consistently now and, you know, figuring out a championship run together. So I think it's been a while for both of us that we have been in those shoes. And, yeah, having a good time, that's for sure.
Let's talk about real quick the red flag situation for the 250s. You walked up to your teammate Levi Kitchen after that situation. What a crazy scene. I have to guess you're pretty glad that you guys haven't had to deal with that. But this red flag situations, the restart with 7 seconds left was a little. It sucks for a racer. I think any of the racers, almost in any position other than Levi's, that was not a cool situation to be in.
No, not at all. Because I'm stoked that Levi won.
Yeah.
But like Max and I are super cool. We were teammates back at when I was with Firepower. And he was there, and so we've known each other for a long time because I raced him when I was a kid. So, he deserved that win. He really did. And I knew once the restart, and I thought, it was over 90%, like that this thing is over. And I could not believe when they said it was going to be a staggered restart. And I said, in my head, I was like, oh no, this is going to be trouble for Max. Like, Levi, this is Levi's chance. And it was 3 laps to go. And it just was an insane sprint, but Max definitely drew the short end of that stick. Yeah.
Yeah, he did. But yeah, kind of like the lapper thing. It's a rule now, though. They changed it, I guess, leading into 24, and that's the rule. If there's any time left, it's going to be a staggered restart now. So I guess now that everybody knows it, you just know it and you prepare for it as best you can.
I would love to know the reasoning behind that.
So Mathis
Mathis
talked about it last night. Lewis and a few other guys talked to Pelletier, and it was questionable when you did 90%. Is it 90% of the time? Then you have another lap left, and you have to figure out lap times. So to make it just cut and dry, it's if there's any time left, it's a staggered restart. Period.
And a minimum of 3 laps.
Yes, a minimum. Well, yeah,
afterwards.
Minimum. Yeah. Yes. So yeah, go ahead.
No, I don't know. With that +1 lap, maybe that can have like a solid. I don't know. I'm right there with you, as in like I thought that was still the deal, and then I got told as well that they changed it this year, and it's you can't change it now anyway. It says it in the rule book, but I think it was fine the way it was before, and I guess figuring out the 90%, they would have to find some kind of standard easy calculation, to make it quick too.
Steve actually said, which I thought made sense in the 250 class, 13 minutes. After 13 minutes, it's over. After 15 minutes, it wouldn't be that hard because I definitely I didn't like what happened.
Who was to say you have to go a certain percentage, right? Like just cut it off at like you said, 13 minutes. Like that's I agree. Oh, you're right. Yeah, that would be the easiest.
I do have, since Scotty here brought up Larry Brooks, I actually have an email from a listener, and he said, Larry Brooks is clearly HEP Motorsport's secret weapon. Everyone knows him or has worked under him knows he is a super intense bloke. In what ways has he been intense with you? Has he been?
I don't know about intense. I feel like it's the complete opposite. We have such a lighthearted, relationship, you know what I mean? And like I said, I have his full trust and he has mine. So everything we try, we think about on the bikes, like I always shoot my ideas and we make a plan together of what we see. And he's been so easy to work with on that scenario. Yeah. So I don't know. It's just the intensity. I think it's just that he never stops working. You know what I mean? Like he's very focused and honed in on the sport and doing what he loves. And I know his family is all part of that and they're super supportive. So I think, he just enjoys what he does and he is 100% all in. And I think that's maybe where the intense side comes from.
Yeah. 2 more for you, Kenny. We'll let you go.
Yeah, Kenny, I've known that we all know that you've been a big proponent of professionalizing the sport. And I know you did your suit thing years ago and all that. And how do you think the sport is viewed as a professional basis now, and what do you think it's gotten better, and maybe some things that you would change?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I think definitely, I feel like I can tell for this year that the attendance we had when we started off the season was incredible, was really fun to watch, and I think there has just been, part of it, I don't know if you want to call it so much drama, but in the last year, the field was getting deeper and deeper. People were getting faster and just a lot of storylines, I guess. And I think it's got a lot of people attracted again right now. And it was awesome to see so many, even friends from Southern California and just the stadium be super packed. And I think we've had the good racing now. Everything's very close. And I think, that was just a lot of anticipation. And so far it's been delivered on that side. So it's been a cool year, for attendance and just I guess the hype around everything. And And yeah, everybody is loving the racing at the moment.
So you think something like a time to drive or whatever, like they did at F1?
Oh.
You think that's coming? And if it was, would you be a part of it or whatever?
A time to ride.
A time to ride. Yeah.
It's not what Drive to Survive.
Drive to Survive.
Ride to
Yeah.
Survive.
I haven't
Oh,
watched
did
it.
Drive to Survive?
I haven't watched it, so
What a loser.
I'm sorry.
It's the best thing on Netflix.
So,
Anyway,
anyways,
go ahead, Kenny.
would you be a part of that? And do you think that that's something that could happen?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, anything what we can do to, and when that Drive to Survive came out, like everybody was super into it, right? So I think I would definitely be down, but then also you got to just see how much longer, I race and when that's all supposed to go down, if there were to be something like that, like sooner rather than later, obviously would be great.
Kenny, before I let you go real quick, I would like to ask your thoughts. You've been wearing wrist brace for a long time since your injuries. You wear them on both wrists. I assume you maybe even wear them if you mountain bike or whatever. I'm a longtime supporter of wrist braces. Why do you like the Mobius so much? What does it do for you?
Yeah, that was my favorite one after my arm injury in 2017. I knew that I needed something at least to start off with. And I was pretty sure that, I was going to always need it. But once I tried that, I was really a believer in the cable system and how it crosses on the bottom of your wrist. It was super comfortable. And honestly, you don't even have to run it so tight. And it gave me a lot of stability, you know what I mean? And that's exactly what I needed. And then on top of it, I just can't afford any more damage really to my hands, right? Like after the number that I've done so far, I just gotten used to it. And I could not ride without it. I've done a photo shoot before where I didn't put them on and my wrists hurt. So I swear by them. I really do. And I kind of mess around. Like sometimes I run them tighter, other times looser. But I feel like they give you a lot of stability.
Yeah, and no issues with movement. That's one of the things you hear a lot about, a lack of movement.
Well, here's the thing. When I first started riding again, my elbow and my wrists were pretty much frozen.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
sure.
So I had absolutely no. So what I have now has just gotten better and an improvement. So I honestly really can't complain. I'm sure that if you don't, or, let's say you have super healthy wrists and everything's normal and you don't ride with them and then you put some on, it could, it's going to be different. But when you don't have another option,
yeah.
And like I said, my motion in my wrist has just improved over the years. So, I've just gotten better and more comfortable with it.
Perfect.
Because it was really stiff how it was before. Like my wrist just did not move.
Yeah, that makes sense. I didn't even think about how bad yours were, that you probably had zero movement almost. So, yeah, that's well, hey, man, I appreciate your time tonight. Really do. Thank you. Please tell Courtney thank you for setting this up for us. And you guys have a good night, and we'll see you in Arlington.
Cool. Thank you, guys. We'll see you guys next weekend.
Okay,
have a good one.
See ya. Ken Roczen tonight, brought to you by Yamaha Motor USA. Always great to have Ken Roczen on. We haven't had him on very many times. I think that's only the second time, actually. So, yeah, how'd the chat feel about that one? That was a good one.
Oh, I mean, the chats, but
Somebody in the chat wanted me to ask, like, why didn't you take the Kawasaki? It's such a much better bike. And you're like, bro, he can't answer that.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, and he's always going to say is the Suzuki's a good bike. Like, yeah.
I will say that Kenny is kind of not necessarily low key or underrated, but he might be one of the most informative, best interview guys of his level, of that speed. That really, I mean, he tells all. Like he really does. Like he gives very good insight. He always answers the questions truthfully, and he's always given good information.
Do you think better than Webb? I don't think he's.
I think they're both really
I think they're
good.
both,
they
that's
are
what I'm
really
saying.
good.
Yeah, like I think we're kind of.
I mean, they kind of. I mean, other than like, it's kind of funny. I would say that Jet and Eli don't, but Chase Webb and Roczen do.
We don't know if Jet does because they want to allow him to talk.
Well,
that's
that's
not
kind
the
of
case. Actually,
that's
not
kind of
so
the
much the
point.
case anymore because that was a Mertz thing.
There was it.
Yeah.
So is he going on podcasts and stuff now?
I mean, he hasn't yet. He's been hurt, but my understanding is that some of those times he actually wanted to talk and wasn't doing it.
Well, you should hit him up.
Well, yeah. Well,
check in with him. See how he's doing.
yeah. Well, you weren't here because you got here a little bit late, but Scotty and I talked about some of the guests coming up over the next few weeks.
Stay tuned.
We've got
Coming
some
soon,
pretty
dude.
good guests tentative right now.
And hey, Jet is not like racing. He could come sit in the studio.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Well, yeah.
Dude, he would pull up to this driveway and turn right
I
around.
think he would Google it first and be like,
Yeah, no,
man.
I'm out.
all right. ETS Racing Fuels was forged from the heat of competition nearly 30 years ago. developing purpose-engineered fuel for high-profile teams and highly competitive series. We have been the power behind many podium wins ever since. Teams using ETS Racing Fuels have won more than 50 national world champion titles, and we continue to forge new alliances and partnerships across motorsports. ETSRacingFuels.com to find your local distributor. I've got a few gallons in the shop there. Stuff, it's good, man. It makes the shop smell like race fuel. You gotta love it.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm excited about going to Arlington this weekend because especially it's going to be cold, so that dome's going to be closed, and that race gas and burning in that stadium.
I don't really notice it. Well, maybe
you're up in the booth.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
Come down with the fans and the noise and the crowd and the beer flowing and the little good times.
Got to hang out with.
Want to hang with the little people?
Yeah,
with your plebeians.
I'm joking.
He's
joking.
calling.
You are one of the little people. What are you talking about?
By the way, the ETS Racing Fuels will announce our Guts Racing winner from the contest last week.
You're all over the place. We're at the end of the show segment now, and
no, we're not.
Yeah, to do ETS Racing Fuels.
He's not in that group message.
Oh, we're not doing that segment. That's for Turds Take. There is no Turds Take.
Well, what am I supposed to do for now?
Don't worry about it.
He's not.
You don't have to click it. You don't have to just leave it on what it was.
Okay.
He's not in that group message that you're referring to about the Guts Racing.
That's not my fault.
No. I'm talking about we had a contest last week on the show.
Oh, okay. But I was
remember the 10th email.
But you were talking about. I thought you were messing with Spencer.
Oh no! Well, there is a code for Guts Racing. It's Vital MX that Chase didn't know.
It was Chase. That's who.
Yeah,
it was,
Chase is like, I don't remember. I didn't think they were even on the show. I don't remember them being a real. Like they bring the second guest every week, Chase. Every week. But if you want looking for a seat cover, Vital MX. It's capital V, capital MX, Well, I wrote it down as, capital MX. Capital V, capital MX, Vital MX.
Yep.
To save 20% at Guts Racing. Our winner last week, we picked the 10th email, and it was Cody McManus. He is already, McManus, I think I wrote that very sloppily. Cody McManus, he's already ordered a seat cover today. So Andy, Greg, and McKenna will get that out probably they do it within 36 hours. I bet you'll get it shipped within 24.
They have complete seats. That's the greatest thing.
We're still going to do our Guts Racing seat read before Cullin Park comes on in just a minute because, as always, Guts Racing brings us our second guest.
As always.
Chase. Before we do that, let's do the X Brand Forum check-in. I'm going to give you guys an option on which one we're going to pick, but X Brand is your choice for clear vision and a leader in motocross and off-road goggles. X Brand is used by many of the top GNCC riders. Speaking of GNCC, history made at Big Buck.
I saw that.
The entire podium was swept by XC2 riders. Never happened in the history of the sport. That's pretty cool.
Is it because it was so muddy that those lighter bikes can get
Maybe it's because they're just that much better than Stu Baylor. Come on, Stu.
I was just curious.
Come on, Liam.
Did the top guys in the XC1? That's the main class. Did they have problems? I
think everybody had problems. It was just very nasty, very ruddy, and
the kid who won not only caught all the XC1 guys, but he won by minutes.
Like a long time. I don't remember but anyway, it's pretty cool.
I guess it would be like one of those things if certain Supercross, I was about to drop names, certain Supercross riders won a main event, you'd be like, did everybody else crash?
Right. No, because these guys are a lot of these guys are racing overall in the top 5 usually anyway. So it's not, cool. It happens here and there.
It could happen again.
It's rare for it to be the entire podium.
Obviously,
for sure. It's never happened. But
that's kind of funny to think about. You think of somebody that had been away from their phone and was out and then that Mookie won the race. And they were like, "What the hell happened?"
Yeah. I feel like
I think Mookie.
It's more like if Levi Kitchen, if the 250s raced with the 450s and Kitchen won, or
it was all 250 podium.
Yes, that's
really what it would be.
Yeah, I think XC2's all 250 riders.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, it'd be like the 250s beating all the 450 guys.
Yes. Okay. Anyway, let's finish this read.
All right.
Used by many of the top GNCC riders, including the 2023 XC1 champion Craig DeLong, 23 National Hare and Hound XC1 champion Dalton Shirey, and many others, Supercross riders, including Henry Miller, Michael Hicks, Richard Taylor, Jerry Robin. Visit EKSbrand.com or go to your local dealership and check out X Brand distributed through WPS. The X Brand Forum check-in tonight. Got to open that up, but there's 2 options. The titles are either RC Beef with Sexton or your bike number. I can tell you which one I prefer.
I think the bike number.
That's the one I like.
Okay.
Cool. All right. We may have talked about this before, but new listeners, et cetera, et cetera. Deal Brothers Trailers posted this. What is the significance of your bike number? 512 is my birthday, and I like the number. Next guy says 507 comes from my AMA number. His AMA number ends in 507.
Huh.
Third guy, 42, wanted a two-digit number whilst racing minis. Before that, this other guy said 511, my daughter's birthday. So there's a couple options.
Yeah.
Scotty, your number.
Well,
when you ride.
well, okay. So it actually is like kind of a funny, like cool story of how my numbers evolved, but it's going to take a second for me to explain it. And I know you're going to get super butthurt.
You know what? If we don't get to the Evans Cool emails till after Cullin Park, that is okay.
So like the very first thing I had was like a couple of numbers that stuck on the PW15. It was 17. And so then when I got a 65, I went to 71. It was me and my dad's number. And then when I got to a bigger bike, I wanted to 85. I wanted to change it, and I went to 190. And then from
these are just randomly, like you just
kind of like they were just kind of there, and then they kind of. So then when I got another 125, I went to 19. And then I wanted a 3 digit, so I added a 7 to it. And then it turns out that 719, which is still what I run now, it has part to do with my birthday / kind of, I don't want to say it because it's part of my social security number, actually. So it's kind of funny how it just happened to work out.
I don't think anybody's going to figure out your social security. And nobody wants to steal your
It happened
identity.
to do that. And so it's kind of just turned into that where that's my number now. I think I was 419 at 1.2. I just I grew up playing like motocross video games, and I always kind of like to just play around with numbers
and see what looks
cool.
And
so, they're kind of random, but at the same time, they kind of all came from some point. So that's my story. I know you just hate it. I know.
So long. I'm joking. I wonder. I'm just giving you a hard time. Lewis might be listening, and he used to race. I wonder what his number was. I'd be curious, and if he had a significance behind it. But TJ, what about you?
Yeah, I'm not saying because y'all make fun of me. So
please tell us then. You have to tell us now.
So
what if I promise not to make fun of us?
That is that make
fun of you. I promise. I promise that I will not make fun of you.
I'm not promising that.
It has to do with.
I hope we get a whole bunch of emails.
Yeah, because I knew it had to do something to do with the quad.
It's quad racing. So basically, when I first started racing 4-wheelers, there was 2 numbers in the Honda shop that I worked at. There was a 9 and a 5. And
wait a minute, 2 numbers that
would left like the vinyl, those stick-on.
Okay,
There was 2 numbers, a 9 and a 5 that had 4 of them because I needed 4 numbers.
Yeah,
and everything else was just 3 in packs.
Oh yeah, I remember dirt digits used to be 3 packs.
Yeah, everything was 3 packs. So I needed 4, and I had a 9 and a 5, and I was going to put whatever number I was going to put 9 something. I can't remember, but I put it on the number plate upside down, and so I had to make it a 6. And then so it was going to be.
Mine was better than that.
This is good, actually.
So I had to be 65, and then I just kept it. There was nothing beside, but it was going to be 95, or no, it was going to be 59 or something. Anyways, it is
MotoXpod@gmail.com to let us know your number history story.
The number you've had for 20-something years was by accident.
Because you put it upside down.
Nihilate Bud says TJ rides a Segway and is worried about being made fun of.
So my dad raced dirt track cars growing up, and he was number 33.
Yeah.
So when I first started racing, I was 33, being like my dad. But I also used the dirt digit, single digit numbers of the 90s.
Everybody used those.
I went to a pressure washer, like a 50 cent, throw the quarters in. At your,
you watched
and one of the numbers blew off. And I was like, well, shit, I didn't have any more numbers. I was in high school, didn't have any money to go buy any.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I guess I'll just pull a 3 off all the way around. And I ran 3.
I think when I met you, were running 3.
I'll finish my story.
No,
I'm teasing you.
I think when I met you, you were still running 3.
Well, I started running the number 3 in 95.
Yeah, so you were still running it when I first met you.
Oh, isn't it Darkside MX3 at gmail.com?
Yeah, because I was 3 until just recently for like 30 years. But the very first race that I raced with that number 3 was my very first win at Swan. So I was like, well, I'm sticking with this. And then at a GNCC recently, my first GNCC a couple years ago, I think I had to have a 3-digit number, or 33 wasn't available, so I said, I'll just do 333, and I really liked how it looked. I thought it looked cool. Plus, at that time, I was on the Husky with the 3, and Brownie was on a Husky with the 3, and it was like, oh, you're trying to be like Brownie. You weren't FXR gear. I was like, well, actually, I've had this number a lot longer than he has, but that started to... I was like, you know what? I'm just going to... Once the 333 got on the bike for GNCC, I thought it looked cool, so I changed it.
So it's not to be half of 666.
Half, like, because I... Half evil?
Because you're half evil, yeah.
That's Mathis says I'm half evil, yeah. That's a ghosted into my Decal Works graphics.
Oh, okay.
But because of that, thank you, Nick. No, that's why. I mean, it started with my dad's number.
I think anybody who doesn't, I don't care what series you ride, I don't care whatever it is, I don't care how small it is, if you don't have some type of championship, you should never run a single-digit number.
I disagree with that at amateur level. I don't care.
I just think it's so poser. Like, I you know me, I don't care about looks. I don't care about your gear matching.
And normally I do.
And I just running a single-digit number when you're some goon at the back of the pack, I just want to walk over and kick you over on the line.
I think 3-digit numbers just look the best.
I do too more now. I didn't necessarily care. Like when I went to 3, I didn't care about any of that really. It really was just superstition.
You didn't care that you were a douche?
That I was a douche?
Because that's what he was saying, that you're a poser.
Wow. So Lewis Phillips just said 5 and 71. I just took...
Me and Lewis had the same number.
I just took numbers my dad won national championships with. Good job to Mr. Lewis Phillips.
His dad was
Mr.
actually
Phillips.
a national champion?
In the UK, yeah.
I did not
know
know
his dad, his brother, they all raced.
He is so much cooler than all of us.
Huh?
Like professionally?
I believe so.
Or like in like a vet thing or something.
I believe he raced like professionally, or maybe it was local. He can respond.
Lewis is so much cooler than us.
Well, that's true anyway. So we got about 5 minutes before we get to Cullin. So let's do a couple of these emails real quick because I have one that I really want to get to. This one is kind of long, but let's do this one. Joshua Childers, respectfully, TG is an idiot.
Acting like an idiot.
This is my favorite person.
Idiot.
This is really what it says.
Changed my life.
Did he actually say this?
Yes. Oh, that's awesome. Jeremy Hand definitely got off balance and went slightly right into Kenny in the air, and it looked like Kenny cross-rutted, but he was trying to move his bike away from Hand. Now, blame Pie, I'd say 50-50, because Kenny shot the gap and made the decision between two papers. Lappers is probably what that's supposed to say. But I'd also say Hand, who is a great rider, just got off balance. Total accident regardless. Wasn't malicious at all.
Can I say that?
You can say whatever you want. I just like that he started with "you're an idiot."
Well,
that will always.
I like that it also that kind of proved my argument that I was making last week, right, too.
I looked at a lot of video about it because I was very interested in it for some reason. I don't know why.
Because never mind.
Lewis just said his dad was French Supercross champion and won British championship races.
Oh, badass. I didn't know that.
That's awesome. I don't think I knew that. Like, we talked a long time ago when we first met and did Industry Insights where he talked about his dad a little bit. I don't remember that being in that story. That's awesome.
That is awesome. But the thing is Kenny went, if Kenny would have held his line straight, that never would have happened. So, like, Hand did get a little swap, but Kenny got really swapped. And anyways,
well,
and I am an idiot, so I get it.
I could have thought he was completely wrong about his content, but if you start with TJ's an idiot,
then you're going to get.
We're probably going to read it.
Or if it's how Darkside's the greatest media guy and is always right, you would have read that one too.
That's not true at all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true, man. Why do you say that? I mean, it's
just messing with you.
The content of what you just said is kind of true, but
do we have any more emails?
Yeah, I got one more here real quick while we're waiting on Cullin to answer. Hey, Dark, do you think it's karma coming for the Lawrences getting injured after how they accused Mertz, the way it was handled? No, Eric. I do not think there's any karma. I think they did what was professional and it was handled well, and no, I don't think their injuries are because of any karma. But we do have our next guest of the night on. Do you have something real quick?
I was just going to say that I don't think that it's karma, but I did think that the timing of it all was like maybe ironic, comedic, just kind of fortuitous kind of thing. I don't know. Yeah.
Okay, our next guest of the night is brought to you by Guts Racing. Andy Gregg and the Guts Racing crew continue to provide the best seats and foam available. If you want the same seats used by Rockstar, Husqvarna, Hep Suzuki, and many more, then you need Guts Racing. They have numerous color possibilities, staple or Velcro installation options, wing seats, and the best foam in the business with the Phantom Ultralight Seat Foam. Don't forget they have complete seats for the Talaria and the Super 73 and covers for the Sur-Ron Segway, and they strive to ship orders within 36 business hours. Visit gutsracing.com and order today. Thanks again to Eddie Gregg and Guts Racing for the free seat for Cody McManus, who won our contest last week. Tonight, Guts Racing brings us from Phoenix Racing, our buddy, my guy, Cullin Park. What's up, dude?
What's going on? Thank you for having me on. How's the night going for you boys?
It's going good. We just got off the phone with Ken Roczen and following it up with you, man. We saving the best for last, so we keep the listeners around.
Oh, man, I got some big shoes to fill.
Big shoes to fill. But listen, let's start right now with 2025 so far. 2 races, 7th in Tampa, 11th in Detroit. I think you had a little issue in Detroit. I think you may have went down. Wasn't on TV, but I feel like
on the final lap. Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought because I saw you drop a little bit. So, but you've been riding very, very well. Are you happy with your results so far?
I mean, yeah, I'd say I'm happy, but I'm definitely not satisfied. Detroit was a bummer because I felt like I actually had a pretty solid race. Like realistically, I should have been 8th. That's when the red flag came out.
Yeah.
And then I actually passed into 7th after the red flag, and then got put back on the ground after the white flag. So ended 11th. So that was a bummer. The results on paper at night. In Detroit, I obviously would love to be consistent and have a 7-7 or 7-8, but overall, yeah, like I said, happy but far from satisfied.
Well, I think though, if you take away the positives from that, that's where you should have been had you not went down. And I'm about to ask you about that, but so that shows you, 7-8 is where you're at right now. Maybe work on a few things, and we'll ask you what those things need to be. But you're hunting for a top 5. You're not far off.
Yeah, that's exactly where I want to be.
Yep.
My goal before the season was to be consistent 5 to 8, and so I really want to crack that top 5. And yeah, I mean, it's a deep class, but I actually kind of looked at that as an opportunity this year because then I think there's no asterisk next to your result. You know, you get 5th in the class right now, and I think it's going to look really good for myself.
Yeah, and I have more questions for that in a second, but let's talk about this. Was the white flag, was that the Forkner situation?
Yeah, it was.
Tell us what happened because it wasn't on TV. So yeah, kind of fill us in.
Yeah, so I had passed them right after the red flag, like right away, like 2 corners in. It might have even been in the sand before the finish line. Like right away, I passed in the 7th and was riding pretty well just for those 2 laps, whatever. And then it kind of all started. I messed up that rhythm, like the end zone rhythm, where it was like the little onto the shelf off.
Yeah.
Double. I messed that up, so he like gained back up onto me, and then went through the sand. I was pretty good in the whoops all night, so I thought I had built like maybe a little bit of a gap, not a gap, but like I thought I had some breathing space. I didn't know he was as close as he was, and so after the finish line, I kind of went like kind of tucked inside, or at least I thought I did, and then watching back on film, I definitely left the door wide open, and I'll be honest, it's a textbook takeout. Props to him. I mean, that's honestly why I was just so mad in the moment. But like after, obviously, like my adrenaline kind of calmed down, and I'm like, yeah, he got me back, whatever. So it's racing, and it's definitely, I put a lot more blame on myself than him, because had I not made that first mistake, I don't think I would have even given him the opportunity to be there and do that. So. And then also I could have easily closed the door more. I mean, when you're racing, it feels like I like cut in tight, but when I rewatched, I'm like, dude, what a bonehead move on me. Like I left it wide open, and he took full advantage of it. So I can't say I wouldn't do the same. So yeah, in the moment, I'm obviously all fired up and mad, and I'm sure everyone saw those videos. But yeah, I went back over and talked to him after, squashed it, and we're moving on.
Good. Scotty?
Yeah, so it's kind of cool, Colin, that you're on a Phoenix Honda, but you've been a kind of a privateer guy, and you made your way, and now you're getting top 10s, and the fact that you're even having those kind of instances with guys like Forkner, it's got to be kind of cool in a way where you're like, you used to be doing that with guys in 15th, 16th place. The fact that you're even having those kind of situations in that top 10, top 5, like it's just got to be a huge breath of fresh air to be up with those guys.
Yeah, that's a good point. And honestly, the breath of fresh air, I kind of like after Tampa, obviously TV showed like I kind of ran Austin a little high and he went down. And dude, I mean, I was getting some hateful DMs, and some of them like they were like so brutal that it was funny. And I'm like after I read one, I'm like, you know what, this is kind of cool because I've never even been in this position to like even get some hate mail. So it was, it's like, yeah, I mean, whatever. I guess it's good and bad.
Yeah, they say any publicity is good publicity, and if they're sending you negative comments, they're paying attention.
And
exactly.
That's weird, Cullin. I don't think people in our sport send negative comments all the time. That seems like news to me.
Yeah, that's why I was a little shook. It was odd.
So as you continue to get better and improve, obviously your bike is going to improve and you're going to want more out of it. What are some changes this year that you've done to your bike that you like didn't foresee you needing to do? Does that make sense? The question makes sense?
Yeah. So actually the Phoenix Honda team, they've done a really good job at providing a very strong bike this year compared to what we've been on. So we've made good progress with the bike and being the all new 2025 Honda as well. So definitely super stoked that we're heading in the right direction. Obviously there's still always room for improvement, but definitely in a lot better place than where we've ever been in the past. And then also just as I'm getting, I mean, this is year 4 for me, so I'm just getting more experience. I mean, although I did miss all of last year, but just getting more experience and knowing what I want out of my motorcycle and the way it handles and stuff. I've definitely learned that, so it's made it a lot easier for me, even just testing and being able to relay that with Factory Connection. So actually, Factory Connection, they just threw me a set of suspension like right when I got on the bike, and I actually rode that stuff for like maybe a month or so, and then I didn't test until about a week and a half or 2 weeks before Tampa. That was the first time I even tested like all off season. So it was, I mean, we kind of hit the ground running. I was kind of on a time crunch, and like I said before, I was supposed to race A1, but I didn't get on the bike till the 1st of January, so I just wasn't ready. But yeah, so I definitely just learned just from experience what I want more out of a motorcycle and in the areas where we can improve. And I think all that's just adding up to what you're seeing with me on the track this year.
I think there's a positive to just whatever they put, you put on it and actually spend some time instead of instantly be like, nope, don't like it, change it. Like actually learn what the bike does and what and how to change it.
No, 100%. Yeah, I definitely agree because I think we all just kind of get in the habit of that, because if it was up to me, I probably would have changed right away, but then it actually kind of ended up being good. You kind of learn the characteristics of it, and you know, it comes with good and bad, but then it kind of makes you know what you're wanting out of your next setting. So yeah, I would definitely agree with that.
Talking about that 25 Honda, I rode one at Kiefer's house. It was done up by XPR, so it's, you know, had a lot of badass parts on it, but that was one of the most I was more comfortable on that bike than I've been on a lot of bikes in a long time. Like, I really was impressed by that Honda 250.
Yeah, it's a really good bike this year. I'm definitely very happy with it. Honestly, at first when I got on it, it was a bit different for me. I needed to get used to it there for a second. Just, I don't know if it was because before I got on it, I'd taken a month off. So then, like, I don't know if it was just from taking a month off and then jumping right back to Supercross, but I was kind of like a fish out of water, and then kind of learned it. And yeah, man, I'm stoked on it right now. It's a very good motorcycle.
So again, Phoenix Honda's done a lot for you. Moto Concept helped you out for World Supercross. But ultimately, right, the goal would be to get a factory level ride. There's just a lot of perks and a lot of things that weight gets taken off your shoulders with those kind of rides. Have you had anybody approach you? Has there been any talks of, hey, maybe there's an opportunity if such and such happens, or like, I mean, you've got to do something to get there, right? And you're working very hard. Your results are getting better. So at some point, I feel like that opportunity is going to open up. Have you seen any signs of that?
Nothing yet, but honestly, I'm also not really going around looking right now. Sure. Because I just we're only 2 races in and there's still a lot of work to be done. And, I'm still far from where I want to be. So I think right now I'm just more focused on the present moment, and that's being the best version of myself on Saturdays. And so I think if I'm there and doing well on Saturday, then opportunities come, and you gotta make them for yourself.
Agreed.
I don't know, Cullin. There's a factory Honda spot open.
450.
Yeah.
He did ride 450s outdoors.
Yeah.
I know. Trust me. But, yeah.
Yeah. So when you guys are when you're training and you're testing and stuff, what is a little bit of your program? Kind of who are you riding with, and are you able to replicate a lot of what you're seeing track wise and racecraft wise during the week?
Yeah. So I'm actually out at the dog pound. I'm out at the Lawrence's place, and being out there has been super helpful. You know, they have a very good group of guys riding, and unfortunately, the Lawrence brothers are not riding right now, but still we have Chance Hymas, Seth Hamaker, and Drew Adams, Aiden Scheib, like definitely a really good group of guys. And just having them to be able to ride with preseason was super nice for me because, you know, you're kind of gauging yourself off of dudes that have some really good speed. So that was good for me. And honestly, I'm not the best practicer. Like, I don't know why, but I don't know, man. I wake up on Saturdays and there's something about those nerves and adrenaline that just really wakes me up and gets me fired up, and it helps my riding a lot because honestly, I think if I raced the way I practice, I'd be doing a lot worse than what I'm doing right now. So it's definitely a good problem to have, but I'm actually just trying to pull some more intensity out of myself during the week because I just kind of struggle with, I will say, like on the heat races, when the track is brand new, I just need to be better there. I want to be more in the mix and come out of that gate just ready to go. And when the track's brand new and super fast, I think is when I kind of struggle a little bit. So I need to get better there. And yeah, I have a good group of guys to ride with. So should help. And I'm looking to make some improvements before Daytona.
And there's nothing wrong with admitting that practice is boring and it's like the worst thing.
He didn't say that.
Well, I think, Cullin, if I had to choose one of those, I would choose your situation rather than being flying at the test track and then never putting it together in race day.
That's true too, yeah.
Oh, we lost him, I think.
Cullin?
Once
iPhones.
again,
What is
it's got to be your
going on?
phone.
It's iPhones, bro.
It may need to do an update or something.
It happens at that exact minute mark too.
Are you there? Hello.
No.
Well, it does.
We can hear him, but he can't.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, man. It's got to be something with us. It might be the Roadcaster.
Well, we've had nothing but issues with that thing. So,
hey, are you back?
Hello. Yeah.
Sorry, man. We've been having problems with either my phone or our recording equipment tonight. So sorry, man, all night. But anyway, apologize for that. You had a question, right, TJ?
I got off. But anyways, I was just saying that practice sucks and heat's okay if he admits it.
Yeah, and then my point was that I would rather be in your situation than be flying at the test track and then never putting it together on race day.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can promise you I'm definitely not that guy. I definitely don't wow anyone with my raw speed or some crazy quads at the practice track. So maybe something I need to work on, but yeah, I ultimately, as long as I show up on Saturday for the main event, that's where it matters.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Cullin Park is brought to you by Guts Racing tonight. Vital MX to save 20% at gutsracing.com. Let's see here. You guys did 2 races and now you take a break already, right? I feel like that would be, in your situation, pretty frustrating. If you're maybe Austin Forkner, who has struggled the first couple races, you need some time to regroup. But you're building and doing well, and I think, I feel like you'd rather just keep racing this weekend.
Yeah, I definitely would, but it's also only one weekend, so
sure,
it's
that's a good point.
Like, I mean, I feel like we go back to Daytona and hit the ground running, and I'll be ready to go. And plus, Daytona's a home race, so definitely stoked about that. Have a lot of family and friends, and so yeah, I think Daytona's honestly probably one of my favorite races of the year. So I'm excited for that one.
Yeah, Cullin, when you realized that you were doing East Coast and you saw the guys that you were lining up with, it's been hashtag deep field or all that, like, what was kind of your idea of what was going to happen, and who's some of the guys that you were looking forward to racing with, and do you feel like speed wise that you stacked up in the hashtag deep field?
Yeah, like right away when I saw the list, I kind of just was like, oh dang, yeah, obviously we got a deep field, but like I kind of touched on earlier, I just kind of also saw it as opportunity. It's like, with a deep field, I think when you get good results, it's just going to look that much better. So I just right away, I'm like, oh, dude, this will be sick. Like, I think it's going to be good racing. And it's kind of funny. I mean, dude, I was in in Tampa when I was in 7th, I had Thrasher and Kitchen right behind me, and it was like I was kind of like laughing after the main. It's like, dude, it's pretty crazy this year, like how these main events are going to be. But yeah, I mean, originally though, when I saw, I'd say I don't think I really ever changed my mind. I just 5 to 8 this year is exactly where I want to be.
And I think that's a very good, realistic spot, especially coming off a 24 with pretty major setback, right, with dislocated wrist during Supercross, and didn't really get to learn and improve. I mean, this is your 4th year. It takes a couple years to really get it figured out. So has that wrist, do you feel it's fully healed? Have you had any issues out of it?
No, the wrist is doing good. I mean, I will say I like trying to get back last year for outdoors was really tough, and my wrist would bother me after some outdoors, but it was still never really, I wouldn't say hold me back, just maybe some pain. But yeah, no, we're all good, and came into this season, we're 100%, and yeah, I'm ready to get fired up each Saturday. Speaking
of that outdoors, I mentioned a little bit ago, 450 last year. Did you learn anything from that, from racing the 450 outdoors? Was there anything you could take away for future endeavors?
I mean, for sure. The 450 class, I mean, I will say that I've never raced 250 outdoor, but just from watching them, it's just so much different. Like the way the 450 class races compared to the 250 class, it's just, obviously it's a much more experienced guys, and they just race a lot different. I will say the 450 class, it's definitely a pecking order out there too, which is kind of funny. But yeah, we're a 250 class. I mean, it's like you're stealing lunch money for 20th place. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's all, I think it's, I mean, everyone has the same goal, but yeah, I will say it's quite a bit different.
Okay.
You know, Cullin, you're kind of getting more into the spotlight, and, you know, I like getting guys on like you on the show so that we can learn more about you. And for the fans and stuff too, they're going to start seeing more of you on the broadcast, getting top 10s and stuff like that. What is some things that outside of moto that you do? And like, are you strictly just straight moto guy, or do you have other hobbies that you like to do?
Yeah, that's a good question. Thanks for asking. But yeah, I mean, I love me some dirt bikes, man, ever since I was young. But honestly, if I had to do anything else, I love to wake surf. Like behind, my cousin has a boat, and I'm on the lake too, so we just kind of go surf behind his boat. And dude, like I love that stuff, especially just because it's so close and so convenient. So yeah, if I had to do anything, it'd be wake surfing. And then actually, funny thing is, I bought a gun from SLR Rifle Works like a little over a year ago. I finally just went and shot it on Sunday, and now I'm kind of like addicted. Like I want to go shooting again on this weekend off. So yeah, it's definitely not. I don't do a ton of stuff, but yeah, there's definitely 2 things I like to enjoy.
Shooting here in Texas is kind of popular. Even my mom has her own gun range at the house.
It's not even like popular. It's just like common. It's just like, oh yeah, you went shooting the other day. Oh, all right, cool, no big deal.
Like, literally, my mom built her own shooting range at the house.
yeah. The only problem is ammo is not cheap anymore.
It's not bad. It's gone down.
Has it gone down?
It's gone way
down. And I was going to say, Cullin, you only need like 2 or 3 race win bonuses to get one of those wake surfing boats.
Yeah, exactly. No kidding.
Hey,
probably a championship too, actually.
Yeah, no kidding. Let's close with this, unless Scotty has something else after this. But my last one is, obviously you believe in yourself. You have expectations of yourself. What do you believe today, as of today, your ceiling is in your career?
Ooh, man, that's a really good question. But I mean, I think I keep progressing, and honestly, I see myself in the future fighting for podiums and race wins, if I'm being completely honest.
Oh, I love it.
Heck yeah.
I love it. Awesome. Anything else, Scotty or TJ?
No, we're good.
Cullin, dude, appreciate you jumping on here. It's been a little bit since I've asked you on, and you became one of my guys over there in Paris a couple years ago, and I spent way too much time.
My man.
Spent way too much time bothering you, but thank you for doing the show tonight.
No, thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. And yeah, you guys had some good questions too. So always fun getting on here and chatting it up with you guys. So thank you.
You got it, man. Well, good luck in Daytona. None of us will be there, but we'll be rooting for you from the couch.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I'm looking to have a good weekend.
All right, Cullin. Take care, man.
All right, see you guys.
All right, bye. That's Cullin Park tonight, brought to you by Guts Racing. Good kid. Anything before we move on to the next
No,
subject?
they're just your phone's fucked, bro.
I don't. I bet it's the Roadcaster.
Yeah.
It probably needs to be reset, but I'm not going to do that right now. I'll have to do a little test tomorrow. Maybe when Lewis and I have our little morning conversations about what the plan is, maybe I'll record it and see if
Morning
it cuts
conversations with Lewis.
But then I still
like
won't
it.
know if it's the phone or the Roadcaster, though. But
You'll have
You could
tea,
just-
you'll
you
have
could
tea
unplug,
or
you could unplug the Roadcaster, like unplug it from your phone, and if it's working then you know it's that. Like if you're on the call
yeah.
and he drops, I can't hear you,
Oh, and then I switch.
just unplug it.
Well, it's Bluetooth. I'm using Bluetooth.
or
I'm
just,
not.
I'm
Yeah, I'm
saying,
not hardwired.
I'm saying
Yeah.
disconnect from it.
We'll figure it out.
serious question. Does Lewis drink tea?
I not that I'm aware of.
You
I
like
don't
not
think
in
so.
the
I think
press
he's
box?
more
He's not like-
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't know if he's still listening or not. I asked him a question he didn't answer. So, no, I don't think he's like stereotypical
Crumpets. And,
British, other than sarcastic. His sarcasm and
This is way better than y'all talking about whatever the hell y'all were talking about. He's making faces.
He doesn't even listen to what we say because he just.
I don't
his
even.
own
I'm
work.
so lost right now. We're going to move into the T-Bolt USA top 5. I told you or asked you to think of some suggestions for the next week, Scotty. I
Yeah.
hope you've done that.
Nope.
Perfect. Ask our YouTube listeners who are
Yeah.
hopefully liking and sharing to give us some top 5 suggestions for a list for next week
Have we ever done our top 5 races?
of all time. Like what? I feel like we probably have.
Okay, I don't know if we have or not.
Yeah,
I
don't-
thought about that, and I thought we have, but
I think we did something like that. But anyway, I'm
Send
spitballing
us
here.
some top 5 lists, and don't well, you can say stupid shit on YouTube if you want. but
stupider the better.
we would really like to have some that we can actually use.
I do like the non-moto ones.
I love the non-modal.
Yeah, that's fine. Just
Yeah.
obviously there's certain lines we need to parameters we need to stay within. Yeah. Okay.
Like you can't do top 5 porn stars.
If you are a pit bike enthusiast and love shredding around on a CRF 110, KLX 110, or whatever you have, you need tboltusa.com bookmarked on your web browser. Jenna Jameson. T-Bolt USA is a pit bike supply site that has everything you need for your pit bike, from BBR handlebars to D&M shocks and even full bikes from YCF and Pitster Pro Bikes. T-Bolt USA has it all. They even have stuff for the Chinese bikes that are so damn difficult to find. You'll find pit bikes, engines, and parts at tboltusa.com.
I'm sorry, but that reminded me of just a quick insert. So I found like one of my English journals from like 7th grade, and we had to do like journal entries every day.
Yeah.
And it was like, who would you want to be stuck on a island with? And I was in 7th grade and wrote Carmen Electra and Pamela Anderson.
Those are good. Those are really good answers. They're not porn stars, but
I mean, yeah,
When you're in
They
7th
are.
grade, they're about as close as you can
no,
get.
they're not. They've never done porn.
Carmen Electra.
Carmen
definitely
Electra
has.
did not do porn ever.
I don't
She
have
was
a
an
clue.
actress and like a dancer.
I don't know. I've
didn't
heard
do
the
porn.
name
Or
of the
maybe
girl
I'm
you're
thinking of
talking
Jenna
about.
Jameson.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I probably had her on the list too.
But your list, your statement just gave me an idea. Next week, top 5 things you would take with you on a desert island.
Okay, I like it.
Boom. But we still need Jenna Jameson, Carmen Electra, Pamela Anderson.
It can't be people.
Yeah.
It can't be people.
No, it has to be
It has to be things.
yeah.
Jenna Jameson.
Yeah,
Jeez. Okay, so
they have plastic parts.
TJ came up with this idea last week. Top 5 news stories you remember from your childhood, your youth. I have some even into some adult years, but I once again, I never follow instructions. I have way more than 5.
Well, sorry, you only get 5.
Okay, well,
I could use some actually.
so TJ, I'm going to let you go first since it was your idea.
Okay, so I guess from the things that really, impacted me or that I really remember, the L.A. riots.
Good one.
That was the,
Yep.
what's his name? Oh, my brain just pulled
Rodney
a blank.
King?
Rodney King. Yeah,
Yep,
that was
yep.
a big deal because
Sure.
I remember I don't remember how old I was. It had to have been in 92.
I feel like it was after my high school years, but maybe. Yeah,
91 or 92. But anyways, he, I remember that because you didn't see the shock and awe that you see on social media and all this stuff, and watching that truck driver get drug out of the truck.
Yeah.
You remember that? That was a
Yeah.
big deal. Obviously the O.J. Simpson thing was real big.
God, they're old.
Yeah, we
92.
are.
You're right. 92.
Yeah. And also I only remember that because of Sublime.
Okay.
Remember April 24th, 1992?
Oh yeah,
It
they
was
have a song about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, and then O.J. Simpson deal. I just remember there was a lot of coverage. I didn't pay attention to it. I wasn't into football.
I'm gonna click. Yeah, I'm crossing out the ones that I had that you named.
Um,
What was your second one?
O.J. Simpson, and then the LA riots.
Okay, those are the only two you said? Okay.
And then Cobain. I was big into grunge music.
thought about Cobain, but I decided not to use it.
Like, literally was the first news story in my life that actually made me cry, I guess you'd say.
Yeah.
I was young. I was
kind of like people with John Lennon in the 80s and Elvis.
I was a skater, and grunge was my life at the time and that kind of stuff.
My life.
It was. I mean, it was my identity.
Funny that you hate music now.
I maybe because it all died with Kurt Cobain. I do remember the Berlin Wall coming down.
Okay.
That's my number 4.
I'm going to cross that one out.
I wasn't born on any of this.
Well, I'm sorry. And then my number one thing...
And you have less hair than each of us, either the old guys.
True. That is true.
And my number one thing that impacted me the most that I really, really remember, because I grew up in Houston. We'd go to the Space Center always, and I was such a nerd.
I'm going to cross out my number 1,
the
probably.
Challenger.
Yeah, 86.
Yeah, then that
was my number 1.
Yeah, and so I was 8 years old when it
happened.
So
for maybe younger people that don't remember or know this story.
Yeah, there was a teacher on it too, on the Challenger.
I think that might have been the first woman in space, or definitely first female teacher, but
yeah.
I feel like it was the first woman in space. I think it was the first
woman, but the Challenger blew up on takeoff, and we were like watching it on, I forget what it was called. Remember the TVs that they had in the class?
Years later, there was like Channel 1. I don't know if
I think it was Channel 1.
I don't know if that's what it was in 86, but it was just like a closed caption.
They played it live, and we're in class watching
4th grade for me.
And we're watching this thing go up, and then all of a sudden you just, anyways.
And they're like, I don't think that was supposed to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I remember them shutting it off.
Yeah.
And then because I was such a nerd and into like going to the Space Center all the time, because I grew up in Houston, it was a big deal to me. So anyways, those are my top 5.
You want to go, Scotty?
Sure. I don't really follow the news a whole lot, so this might kind of suck. But that TJ's reminded me of what was the one that happened?
Hold on, did you not make a list?
No, I didn't.
Some people don't really care about the show and being prepared.
Yeah, I never show up I don't show up every week on time, ready to go, do my job. Yeah, I never.
I don't know about the ready to go part, but go ahead.
That reminded me of the one when the spaceship blew up and was like 2002-ish.
Yeah, that was over Texas, right?
Parts of
scattered.
It was on his way. It was re-entry.
Yep.
And my dad had parts of it on his property.
Was it Odyssey?
No, it was the Discovery.
Discovery. Okay.
Discovery.
Yeah. Okay. So I remember that one, and then there was another one where I followed. Cool. I got sucked into this news story, and it was like a weather balloon
I'm hoping it wasn't Jenna Jameson. I got sucked in.
I would be okay with that. Yeah.
By the way, y'all totally just blew up the chat with that. It's gone. Chat's gone. And so there was a weather balloon thing that supposedly this kid had climbed into, and
I don't know this story.
They're like, this kid's floating in space. This kid's
I feel like this might be a movie.
It was on like
right, I'm gonna Google it.
It was on like Fox News, and then like I followed it for like 2 hours of just like they were filming this balloon go, and it turns out the kid was like hiding in the attic like the whole time. And
it
was
reminds me. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so it was all like that makes why I don't like watching the news, because it was like this crazy story and it turned out to be nothing.
2009. The Balloon Boy hoax occurred on October 15, 2009, when a homemade helium-filled gas balloon shaped to resemble a silver flying saucer was released into the atmosphere above Fort Collins, Colorado by Richard and Mayumi Heen.
Balloon Boy.
They then claimed that the 6-year-old son Falcon was trapped inside.
Yeah,
that's what they get for naming their kid Falcon.
That's what I said.
Millennium.
That's what typical Falcon.
All right. Okay.
But you remember the kid that was in the whale?
Yeah.
Baby Jessica.
Oh,
it's on my list. Number 2.
I remember
1987 in Midland, Texas. Baby Jessica fell into an 8-inch pipe.
Yeah.
Well,
that was a big deal, and they got her out
for like 80 or I don't remember, 30-something hours, 40 hours.
Yeah, it was a long time.
Yep. Anyway, go ahead.
I'm
just crossing mine off.
And then obviously the one I like, it was like the first time that I really like the outside world actually like affected me and news mattered was I was 11 years old when 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
So
holy crap, how did I not have that on my list at all?
So
I wasn't a kid.
I remember, like,
I didn't do just kid stuff.
Oh, I just did kid.
I watched. I remember me and my mom were just watching that stuff for like weeks, and now I just think it's all a conspiracy thing. But anyway, we're not going to go into that. Anyways,
the Earth is round, bro.
I know. I'm not a flat earther.
Did go to the moon.
I am not a flat earther.
Okay.
And then the one was that was recent was the Trump rally where he got shot or tried to get shot and they missed or whatever. Like that one was big. And that's
definitely not when you were a kid, but okay.
I thought you didn't say when I was a kid.
He did say youth, but I maybe I
Oh.
might not have told you that because you don't pay attention to our group text.
Yeah.
Is that 5?
Sure.
Well, you keep going if you have.
I
another
don't.
one.
Yeah, no, I'm out.
So we've already named a bunch of mine. I had the hijacking of Flight 847 TWA, which was an 85.
85. So I don't remember that.
I was 10.
7.
I just remember seeing like this plane sitting on a tarmac, and yeah, it had been hijacked. Obviously, that's.
Remember. Anyways.
So I'm skipping a couple. Then I had Tanya Harding, Nancy Kerrigan.
Oh, yeah. That was a
When-
big deal.
Yeah.
I forgot about that one.
David Koresh in Waco in 93.
Oh, how did I not?
Oh, the Waco. Yeah.
Now, I'm in a teenager
Dude,
in these years.
y'all's news was way cooler than ours. Ours sucked.
Well, no, we weren't overloaded with everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, like, I had friends that I grew up with that were part of that family. Not that was their cousin. David
really?
Koresh was.
Oh,
his
yeah,
last,
yeah.
His
Yeah.
last name was Kid.
I've-
You know
I've
the
heard
Kid
of-
Jones?
The gas
The
stations?
gas stations?
Oh, okay.
He's related to the kids.
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. Anyways, go ahead.
They're not there
Bill
anymore,
Clinton,
but-
Monica Lewinsky,
Oh, yeah. That was a good one.
Jean-Bonnet Ramsey.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Now, again, adult at
that
this
was
time.
90s, right?
Jean-Bonnet was 96.
yeah.
Clinton Lewinsky was 98.
I was married in 96.
The death of Princess Diana. That was a big news story. Again, I'm an adult at this
Did you
point.
see the chat? Someone said that Dark remembers when the red coats were coming.
Hey, good one.
And Persian Gulf War.
Yeah.
I remember that because my dad was overseas.
And you remember the
on a boat.
helicopters that were like coming over? Like, I just, for some reason, when I think of the Gulf War, I think of like on TV, you'd see all these like Black Hawk helicopters just like flying towards the bad guys and stuff.
All I remember was just watching Black Hawk Down.
I've never seen it.
We lived it, bro.
Yeah. Y'all had cool news stories. Like the only ones we ever had was 9/11. I mean, that was
I'm glad you
That's
think
not- that's
9/11 was
definitely
cool.
not cool.
no,
I don't know
like,
that it is
okay,
cool, but
interesting
I
news
know-
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was interesting because
Well, the news has kind of changed now. It's all
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
keep up
it's-
with it. If something's big enough, I'll see a meme about
Right.
a joke about it on Instagram.
but yeah, so
just trying to call me spam, making sure like we're not getting
Answer it. Bring 'em on.
I'm making sure like like Jet Lawrence isn't trying to call and get on the show, get his top 5 news stories in.
that'd be awesome.
Okay, Barnett clutches. Pick one. Barnett clutches. Barnett Dirt Digger clutch kits have 75 years of experience behind every kit. Engineer almost as old as Scotty's hair. Engineered for maximum performance, Dirt Digger clutch kits feature friction materials formulated exclusively for Barnett. You can get your Barnett clutches at barnettclutches.com and get 10% off with promo code VitalMX. That's all caps. Guys, if you're riding at all, you're going to eventually need some clutch parts. Hit them up. Barnett Clutch Kits, because they support us. We need to support them along with all these other sponsors that we love. So our pick one this week. I decided, because we didn't think about this ahead of time because Scotty wasn't prepared. I want to know if you would rather be in a situation
I like would you rather
where you're embarrassed and like totally embarrassed in front of a massive, large audience. Let's, whatever, it doesn't matter. Lots and lots of people, or be put in a situation where you're legitimately scared for your life and don't know if you're going to live. What were you going to say?
Is it embarrassing? Like I ripped a fart on a microphone,
That's
or
up
is
to
it,
you,
or is
man.
it like humiliating where I was
I
like
don't-
where I was like
I would say
degraded
more
as a person?
Well, I would just say
That would be you on the show.
you
every
have to
week.
make a decision on that. Like,
I'm used to that.
how-
I mean, we're good on that.
if ripping a fart in front of 500 people, it would like almost make you want to run and
Yeah.
hide.
See, I feel like that'd be
It's
embarrassing.
like basically, would you
your
rather be
pants, like-
embarrassed or scared?
Hey,
It's not that hard.
can I help? Have you ever been embarrassed? Like actually, like something happened and you were embarrassed.
I mean, probably, yeah.
Okay, so that feeling or the feeling of fear?
Okay.
Yeah. So who wants to go first?
You go ahead.
I think I'd rather be embarrassed because I get embarrassed all the time. I do stupid stuff or whatever. Steve and Kiefer love to make fun of
That's a
everything
good
that
way to
happens.
think about it.
I being embarrassed, not that big of a deal to me. Being legitimately scared where your heart stops and you feel like that's, I love horror movies, but like when you wake up in the middle of the night and you're legitimately terrified,
I get like a boner.
that feeling is awful. So I'm going to go embarrassed.
What kind of ghost you got, bro?
I'm going to go with, since I said that, I'm going to go with, I would rather be scared because I love it because it's exciting. Like there's nothing better than just pure terror, but not like a movie. Movies don't scare me. They're stupid. But like fear for my life. Like today, today I was up on the ladder, and I was hanging a motorcycle from the roof of my, anyways, and up, and the ladder went, you know,
that moment when your heart,
and I was just like, I'm like, I looked down, I'm like, okay, is it gonna go? And like, how am I gonna get? And I was this fear, and I was just like,
got a boner?
It just made me feel so alive.
Table.
Oh, sorry, I just felt so alive. Like I
Did you
love
have a
it.
boner?
Afterwards, yeah.
Scotty.
I don't even know how to follow that. I would probably. I think I would. I don't know. Neither one of them really are too crazy, but I think that I would probably rather be embarrassed than just completely freaked out.
Yeah.
If I had to choose one.
Okay.
But yeah, that's a good choice.
All right, so we also need a good topic for Pick One next week. So we will take suggestions, YouTube, like and subscribe from those guys, or please email us, motoxpodshow@gmail.com. Help us out. I mean, we can come up with one, obviously, before next week, but if you guys have some good suggestions, we'd love to use yours. Okay, I'm going back to my original notes from the race tech discussion, just to see if there's anything else I wanted to really get into. Do you guys have anything before we do FXR?
I've got.
I do have a couple of things.
I've got a good choose one
for next week.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us what it is. It's pick one.
It's pick one. You can only give it to us if you.
Yeah, you have to say pick one.
Pick one.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
What did I say the top 5 was?
Things you would take with you on a desert island, not people.
Your favorite decades of music: 70s, 80s, 90s, or 2000s.
But that's. Okay,
It doesn't have to be 2. Y'all forget that this was originally my idea to do this segment, and I never said it had to be 1 or 2.
So what are our options? 80s, 90s, 2000s?
You can throw in 2000s if you want. 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Which one's your favorite decade?
That's going to be very
of music?
difficult for me, but okay. Yep.
I would like to see you come up with just one.
Where I have to pick one.
He's gonna waffle.
It says pick one.
Okay.
Yeah, he's gonna waffle like 17 different ways.
I think on the pick one, I usually only do one. The top 5 is where I...
You waffle, yeah.
Yeah.
You have like a top 50.
Yeah.
And the top 20 countdown.
Okay, real quick. Let me go back because on these notes, I know I had a couple other things I wanted to get to. Real quick, are you guys glad that we're going back west this weekend?
Don't care.
What?
Oh, go ahead.
Who do you think will have the biggest improvement from their 2 weeks off, for actually 3 full weeks, 2 weekends off?
That's it. You said it earlier.
Is it to anybody else like really seem odd that we're going triple crown to triple crown for West Coast?
Pretty early. It's a little early.
No, just the fact that they're back to back triple crowns.
Oh,
the last time they raced was a triple crown, and is that like? We didn't think that
I didn't really
through.
think about it. Yeah,
that.
they're usually a little more spread out, and Dallas is almost always
especially
a
at least
crown,
a regular
and
round
it's
in
usually
between.
east.
Yeah,
it's a little weird, but
I'm going to. I paid my tickets. Bought a hotel room. I'm going to Dallas this weekend to watch Supercross. I don't hate it like TJ does. I genuinely enjoy it.
Sure.
And I at being at the races, I really do like triple crowns.
I do too.
I feel like I get more. I like going from opening ceremonies, fireworks are going off, the smoke's still clearing, and we're racing for points. Like I think that as a fan, I think that's incredible.
I like it, but none of that answers my question.
No, it doesn't. I don't care.
Who do you think has the biggest improvement since Glendale?
I would
with the break.
I think the most benefited from it is going to be Deegan. I think that he has a chance to, and I would say this: he has the most on the line. Like if he,
that's a good way to put it.
If he took these 2 weeks off and he doesn't come back and kind of dominates, then it's really like those questions never got answered, kind of thing. Like if he doesn't come back and put a dominant performance, I'm not saying he has to sweep all 3 of them, but if he doesn't win this race, I think that he has to start really being a little nervous about this championship.
Okay, TJ, you got an answer?
He's got a really kind of a good deal with Deegs. Like it's kind of hard to argue that, but it's not more like who benefits the most. It only benefits him the most if he went back these last 2 weeks and just focused on the things that were causing him the issues.
Sure.
Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's where I would probably go with it.
I'm going to say Joe Shimoda. Joe had much higher expectations, and then he broke his finger. Wasn't very good. I'm hoping and expecting that, a little bit of time to heal, that he'll be a lot better than he has been.
he's not like completely out of the championship
No,
either.
probably not.
19 back.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's a pretty big gap on
I
a
know, but it's
short
not.
series.
It's not just. There's still shootouts or showdowns, whatever.
Sure.
I'm just saying it could be worse. He's closer than RJ is.
Yeah.
I mean, they've done more races,
Yeah,
but yeah.
Okay, one more question before we get to FXR picks that I had was the mental thing that we talk about with Kenny that he's got, or with Cooper in the past, where we said, oh, he got in Kenny's head, blah, blah, blah. Do you think that Cooper could do the same thing to Sexton over the course of the next half of the series? Chase him down, just mentally quote unquote break him a little bit, where Sexton's like, oh crap, Cooper's behind me. A little bit, I start making mistakes.
No, because I think that Chase is the best version of himself when he is in those battles.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 2022 outdoor season when him and Eli were racing, like they were perfect. Like it was incredible. He didn't really make those mistakes. It's when he has kind of like how I feel like Stu did a lot in his day. It's when he gets that 4 or 5 seconds and it's his race to lose. And for whatever reason, he has those little
brain farts,
blimp of whatever
lack of concentration.
Yeah, so I think that if Cooper was on him, I think that you would get the best chase.
Okay,
it's when it's his, like this weekend he messed up the start.
When things are almost coming easy.
Yeah, that's when he makes his mistakes. Like this weekend when he got a bad start, and like, dude, watching him go through the pack was like he was riding incredible. And I was like, oh, I got a little nervous. Like don't make a mistake, don't make another mistake. But he didn't. Like he rode flawlessly and was blitzing through the
Except
field.
for going down.
Well, after that, but I think that Coop can't really play mind games. I think the only person that plays mind games against Chase is Chase.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Do we have any memory of Chase making a mistake with somebody on him?
Yeah, it's always when he's got like a 5 second
more
lead.
often than not, it's when he's kind of alone, and it just seems it's very strange. So
I guess the answer is no.
Okay, all right.
And I don't think that I don't think Kenny gets rattled. I think Kenny just.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. Yeah, I think if he's being super pressured, that he's going to be pretty stout, pretty strong.
The race that I would like to see would be Kenny getting the start, Cooper in second, and Chase starting like fifth, and then getting up to them.
Okay,
yeah, that would be the race I would want to see.
Well, I'll talk to all three. Yeah. I'll talk to all three of them in Arlington and say, hey, I need you guys.
I'll be there.
We'll try to set this up. Okay, done. All right, FXR picks for Arlington, Texas. FXR is designed by racers for racers with industry-leading fit, finish, and performance. Progression is the name of the game with every new piece created. At FXR, we push our brand to the next level to provide you with the best products possible. Used by Muck Off FXR Club Mix Yamaha, Mike Brown, Brock Tickle, Chris Kiefer, and many more. FXR has core motor roots. Visit FXRRacing.com or go to your local dealership to see the complete 2025 line. Well, I'm stumbling over those words as usual. But yeah, you can check out FXR.
I have a question.
Well, okay. I was about to say something, but
no, go ahead. Finish. You seemed like you were waffling, so I was trying to help.
No, FXRRacing.com or go to your local dealership and see everything they have to offer, and you can see it on me at Swan at the local Loretta.
You got it on right
Loretta
now.
Qualifier in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
you're going to do that?
Yeah, I think I am. I was kind of out, but I think I'm back in.
I may go do that quality. I think I can make. What do you got to make? Top 5?
I don't. It's different in each area.
Yeah.
I'd have to
they
look
don't have
it
a
up
beginner
and see
class.
what it is. Yeah, there's definitely no beginner class. That is true. What were you gonna say?
I haven't been to a whole lot of different venues and races and stuff. I don't know if you've been to every one, but I know you've been to most of them.
No,
or,
not even most.
More than I have. And you've talked with a lot of the guys in the industry and stuff. Is Arlington not like probably one of the best stops, like attendance wise, stadium wise, track wise, dirt wise? I know the dirt wasn't always good, but lately it's been
a lot better. Yeah.
And
I know that like Daytona and A1 have their own little thing to it, but I feel like low key Arlington is probably one of the better races of the year.
Yeah, I think it's one of the favorite stops. That in Glendale, Nashville,
because I know that like going to them, like there's a lot of people at it, like at least 65,000. And I don't think the other races get that kind of attendance.
Well, and also there's like more strip clubs per capita in Dallas DFW area.
Are you okay? You've been, you've been on one today. You had a near-death experience this morning. You're just thinking about all this.
That would be Atlanta. Atlanta would be the one for that.
I miss going to the Georgia Dome or whatever it is called.
I never actually went.
Or not them going.
Yeah.
I've never been either.
Yeah.
Like I always thought that race was so cool.
Yeah.
All right, you ready, guys? FXR picks for Arlington. We're gonna do 450s and 250 West since we're switching back. I went Sexton, Cooper Webb, Jason Anderson. I'm just throwing a what do you call like a
how is
throwing it at the wall?
Is it not because has he been good at these Triple Crowns?
Jason?
Yeah.
I mean, he's been Jason Anderson.
Okay.
Honestly, Kenny's been better, but I'm just
okay. You're just trying.
I'm going out on a limb
because yours is basically the same as mine, except for Kenny in third.
Okay. Well, let me do my 250s.
Oh, that's right.
Deegan, Davies, Juju.
Okay.
TJ. So
what you think that Juju has more consistency issues in Triple Crowns? Is that why you're?
Well, I just think Davies should have won. Glendale, and I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and then I feel like Deegs is just going to it's time to win.
I want to say Juju.
Well, all right, we do 250s for you. All right, Juju.
Well, I already gave you my 450.
Well, I didn't hear everything you said because we were Sexton, CW, Cooper Webb, and what was 3? Kenny. Okay.
Kenny.
Juju,
Jordan, and Deegs.
Okay. And Scotty.
Deegs just makes too many issues to have 3 good races.
I think Cooper goes back to back.
Okay.
Roczen, Sexton. I think Sexton has
a bad race or something.
One bad race.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
250s.
I'm gonna go Juju, Deegan, Jordan.
Okay, those are our picks.
Same podium. You and I have the same podium, just different order.
Okay.
Yep.
Send us your picks to MotoXPodShow@gmail.com. Send us your T-Bowl USA top 5 list, as well as what you would take to a desert island. Barnett clutches, pick one. We 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. Pick one for your favorite decade of music.
Yep.
Send us a list on that. Anything else you guys want to get in on, MotoXPodShow@gmail.com. We want to thank Race Tech and Yamaha Motor USA, as well as X Brand, Evans Coolant, Guts Racing, T-Bolt USA, Barnett Clutches, ETS Racing Fuels, FXR, and Pro X. Don't forget about those promo codes, Vital MX to save at Guts Racing. Thanks to Ken Roczen and Cullin Park for jumping on. Thanks to you two dummies for being in studio, and our YouTube viewers, like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week. Here's what I've got so far. Nathan Ramsey has confirmed for next week. I have a penciled in Eli Tomac for next week. So we'll try to confirm that by the weekend. Oh, yeah, right?
Yeah.
Somebody might try to steal him.
Yeah. Well,
that's what we got.
Yeah.
So I also have Cooper Webb coming up in a couple weeks. Jason Anderson said he would do the show in the next month or so. So I'm going to try to lock him in. So we got a lot of really good guests coming up. I'm excited about what's to come with the show. Anything else, guys, before we go?
Can we have Lewis on soon?
Lewis does, yes, if he wants to.
I miss Lewis.
He does the post-race show. The MXGP show is about to kick back up next week with the preview show for the season. He does the hub.
LVK.
He
doesn't
LVK.
have to do a whole segment. Just a little bit of Lewis.
Hey, there's a request. If he says he'll do it, then yes. But I'm not gonna
Hopefully,
I'm not going to put him on the spot and make him feel like he has to do it or feel guilty.
Look, he's bringing like the GP show is about to start back up.
MXGP, yep.
Yeah, and so he has like don't even worry about our show. Focus on that.
So he and I were talking. Obviously, he knows way more about GPs than I do, but like my guy Geyser, he feels is just going to run away with it because there really is no real challenge with.
Is Hurling's hurt again?
Hurling's hurt. Yep. He got hurt months ago.
I knew that. I didn't know if he was
Prado's
better.
here. No, he'll miss the beginning of the season.
Well, Prado's hurt too. So
yeah, but so Yeah, he has no faith in his buddy Jeremy Seawer or Renault or
With this,
Is there any 250 guys moving up?
Lucas Coonan.
Coonan is.
Yep.
I wonder how he's going to be interested to see on the 450. I'm actually.
Well, next week, listen to the MXGP preview show on Vital MX. It will be up Adam Wheeler, Lewis Phillips.
That's just
VitalMX.com.
It's one of the best.
I know. It's like it's hard to go up, make a big move like this off of just something off of that shorter notice, but like an opportunity like that where like that GP feels kind of depleted. Would there be any U.S. riders you think that maybe they're not quite having the success here that could go? It just doesn't translate enough.
Nah, I don't think so. There's no money in it, so no.
Yeah.
Nope. All right, guys. Next week.
Yep.
We'll probably be back if I feel like it.